All right, we're live, by the way, and we are now recording.
Hi.
And you may catch some weirdness because we're kind of. This was not a smooth start. Something about a 10-year-old asking things at the very last second. But regardless,
It is not smooth.
it's not smooth, but we'll get there. Welcome, my friends. Welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for this, I don't know, what is this, the 10th episode of what are we calling this? Tithes of Acheron. There we go. I didn't have my notes open in front of me if you couldn't tell. I really do need my notes sometimes. This is episode 10 of Segmentum First, Into the Maw. And with me, of course, are my wonderful Grimdark players, Rodance, Alturios, Warner, Darius, and the troll in Magnus, Rev. So let's take a quick moment, check in with everybody.
Wonderful.
Sure. Check in with everybody, see how things are going, see what's new and exciting. It's been a couple of weeks for one reason or another. I think actually I canceled last week because work literally got the better of me. And then the week before, or maybe I'm getting this flip-flop, there was a hurricane involved. Yeah, hurricanes and work getting the better of me. But anyway, let's start with Rev. Rev, what's new and exciting for you in the last couple of weeks?
Oh, not much. Just lost my train of thought. Got a new headset, obviously, with a few features.
Indeed. That's, the smooth, clear clarity is nice. I just hope you don't do all the other trolling bits.
What other trolley bits?
I don't know
Too
what
late.
I don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay. I'm afraid to look at my table too because I'm sure you guys have done something to.
Oh no, not much.
There's a big penis on it.
No. Just no. God damn it, man. 2:15 and I'm dropping the big curse words here.
But I don't have much for tonight. I've had kind of a hectic week. And I didn't have to ask my mother to make ramen for me.
Well,
good for you. I should hope that you are significantly older than 10.
Slightly.
You need to be in order to be a player on my show. So,
but is he more mature than a 10?
No, absolutely not. Listen, that part was never in question.
Hey Omar.
Yes.
What's the password for the tabletop?
Rev, I don't even know why you're asking. You're already on the damn table.
Yes, but it made you look.
I did, because it would determine one of two possible answers. Either, oh wow, you're already on the table, or it's in the pins. Darius, help me out here, please, for the love of God. What is new and exciting with you?
I just lost a game of MTG.
I have no sympathy, but I don't want you to think that it's because I hate you or anything. It's just because I have zero interest in MTG. It's Magic the Gathering or Marjorie Taylor Greene. Depending on.
I was gonna say they made Marjorie Taylor Greene a game.
What's that?
I was just gonna say, wow,
they're not making They're not making card games after controversial political figures at the moment.
What?
At the moment.
Sorry, what did you say, Rev?
You mean my Kickstarter for AOC is fake?
Yes. Yes, it is. Fake and gay.
Darius, what he's trying to say is that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a politician that also happens to be referred to by MTG by various people. And so now in Rev's mind,
I don't know anything.
Most people in the gamosphere knew you were talking about magic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ignore all of them though. All the ones that are confused. Mostly Rev. Darius looks completely flustered right now.
Oh, I was just looking to see if there was any better or best caged songbirds, and there's not.
Oh, okay. I'll double check it, but I thought there was some bonus for good crafted, like you could see through their eyes or something like that.
No.
Darius, you have anything else?
Let's see. I'm going to a convention this weekend.
Yes.
This coming weekend.
Yes, you are. I do remember that now because
I'm looking forward to that.
yeah. And then I hear tell that you are playtesting a new campaign for this channel.
What?
That you're I hear that you are helping me playtest a new campaign for this channel.
Oh, yes. When are we doing that?
Tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Kusama has his first official match tomorrow.
What time?
I have to actually look in the Discord notes. I believe it is at something closer to 8 p.m. instead of the normal 7 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, that should be fine.
Yeah.
I will have my laptop with me, and I will be able to set up and be online.
Awesome.
I just might be sharing a room with some other people who might make noise.
Well, we can throw dice at them if we need to. I thought it would be funny. I guess maybe not everybody else.
Throwing dice at the problem.
Well, the other people in the room might think that's no dice, but
yeah. Altarios, let's
Yeah.
check in with you, my friend. How are you holding up? Have you mutated into like gills or fins, webbed fingers, anything like that by chance?
Milton gave us a lot of wind, but we didn't get the flooding that everyone else got.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. So the biggest thing you probably had to deal with is like storm debris, power outages, things like that.
Yeah, if we had tried that night, I would have been gone for more than half of it.
No, I fully expected when I asked if you thought you were going to be able to make it. I was like, I'm not expecting him to say anything positive about availability.
Yeah, like it was going good, and then all of a sudden, like, just no, you don't get to have power now. Power rights are revoked.
Yeah, no, that's normal though for a storm to knock out
Yeah.
power grids and destroy data servers and things of that nature.
Infrastructure
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Not my infrastructure now.
Speaking of data servers and infrastructure, Rodance, what's new and exciting for you?
I'm a little sad that apparently my plans to troll you today have already fallen through.
Oh no! Did my anti-troll shield work? It was either that or I was gonna get a middle finger, so whatever.
Yeah, well, sadly, it wasn't even going to be anything bad. It was just going to be slightly entertaining, and we would have moved on. I'm now going to have to save it for next week.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Just so we're clear, me just saying we're trolling you is all that I need to do. We don't actually have to do anything because you're still going to complain about it.
This is true. This is Rodance trolling.
It's Psyos, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, at least
I now know your weakness.
I mean, I call it psyops. He spent a lot of time discussing SecDef yesterday. It was a little funny.
Yeah, it was. I really been waiting for a while to drop that big bombshell on Kane. Because I knew what he was trying to do with the alien campaign, and this is my attempt at counter steerage.
You know, we're just going to murder everything insane, and
That's
it's not going
fine.
to matter because we follow the Pike Way, right?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's totally fine. We can live with that. Warner.
Sup?
Sup. I was gonna say something about basket hilted swords, but nothing like tangible came to mind fast enough. So let's just go with generic.
I am a basket case, so
That's probably true. How are you doing? What's new and exciting for you?
Well, I took this week off work to get some stuff done around the house.
Hold on. I have to interrupt. Did you take this week off of work and call it a vacation, and then it became doing stuff around the house because somebody very important to you said, hey, now that you're not at work, why don't you do all these things? Or did you take the week off of work specifically so you could do these things?
I took the week off work because I only have so much PTO rollover, and I need to spend my PTO.
You need to use it or lose it.
and my wife has been asking me to do some things around the house, so I figured today being one of my daughter's birthdays, I'd just take the whole week off. I'd be around all day for her birthday. I could get some stuff done around the house. And instead, I caught the plague that
Yeah.
has been running through the family that everybody else is over, but apparently it was just my time. So if you hear me coughing up a lung at some point, that is why.
Hell yeah, incubation periods, man.
What a response.
I think also it has something to do with like stress and necessity.
Yes.
Like your body holds out going, I have to be strong while all of them are under the weather. And then once all of them are better, your body's like, F it. You can
Yes.
go down now.
Stress absolutely has an impact on your physical health. I totally understand that. Usually I'm the last one in my family to get, last or the first. I'm either the one that brings it home or the last one to fend it off because my immune system is like that. But when I do get hit, which is usually once or twice a year, it can knock me down for a day or two. And I don't care if anybody calls it a man flu. It is what it is.
The man flu is a thing.
It's
Man
because
colds are
our-
also a thing.
It's because the immune system doesn't function exactly the same way. There's a reason why women have like 80 or 90% of autoimmune disorders.
Ugh,
I just
autoimmune disorders.
I find the memes and internet jokes about man cold and man flu and all that. I find them amusing. But also I am the guy that when I do get hit, I'm usually down for a day or two and then I'm fine for I'm okay for a week and then I'm back to normal.
There's also this thing called getting older that changes it.
Yeah.
I remember before I turned 25, if I had a cold, it was almost like I was just my normal self. And then somehow after 25, it was like, oh, now I'm sick when I have a cold. And then after 35, it was, oh, now I'm really sick when I have a cold.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
really
God,
don't want
I'm
to figure
dying.
out what it's like when I'm 55 or 65. I mean, it's gonna not be good.
Such is the way of life. Well, I really don't have anything super exciting to announce. I am currently playtesting a BattleTech Solaris campaign using Megamech and a bunch of friggin' rules I've either cobbled from either the Solaris book or stole from another content creator. I shouldn't say stole. I asked for them and he gave them to me, so I've incorporated them. But I'm hoping to launch a BattleTech Solaris singles competition type RPG campaign starting sometime early next year, around January. Darius is kind enough to help me out. I've sent a copy of the rules to Kane. I had asked Kane DeMail to join the group, but he has declined at the moment, but has offered to review the rules, and of course, real life has gotten in the way. There's a couple other people I'm thinking about asking. But yeah, that's one of the 2 or 3 different campaigns. I also just launched another campaign, Mech HQ BattleTech Aquila Legion, that will be streamed on Saturdays when I'm not doing Star Wars. Today, I spent the entire day thinking about how I might be able to put together a gladiatorial RPG using the Pendragon rules.
Why would you want to use the Pendragon rules?
Because I really like the
Willingly.
combat system in Pendragon. So
Willingly.
I really like the simplicity of a 1d20 roll in contested.
If
In
you want an
contest,
easy system, we'll discuss running Fate later.
I have heard of Fate. I've heard of a few others that are similar or much more narrative. I haven't decided if I'm even going to pursue this because I've had this idea in the past and it ended up getting superseded by other ideas. So it wouldn't
Fate
surprise me.
has a
Right.
significant amount of elegance to it. The
Mm.
the 4 fate dice wind up with results that more closely resemble the bell curve most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice.
Okay.
What era are you running your BattleTech campaign in?
The Solaris one,
Yeah.
30-40.
35. Oh, darn. I was going to say, the
Ooh.
Hunchback 2 Charlie is very funny in the Solaris match.
Well, so 30-40, I picked it for a couple of reasons. One, you've got that gray area between level 1 and level 2 tech, right? Level 2
Mhm.
tech is slowly starting to trickle in. So the opportunities for prototype matches would be, fairly easy to get after a little while. The other thing is in the 3040s, according to the lore, especially as far as Sarna.net is concerned, there's not a lot going on, and there's not a lot of information available, so I can basically just do whatever I want.
Mhm.
The 3040 has the outside possibility of Justin Chang Allard showing up in the arena.
And that's an angle that I would have to look at too, because I don't know a lot about the I know Kai Allard Liao in his little Centurion I beat an Atlas in the finals. Bullshit happened. I call bullshit on that every day, just because I've played a lot of BattleTech where a medium does not last against an assault. But that's just my personal opinion too.
An AC-20 is a head capper, so you can get a lucky shot off
You
in tabletop.
can't. Listen, I'm not saying a medium will die always to an assault. I'm just saying the chances are very, very, very low of surviving.
Well, it was a book series, and
Oh,
book
yeah.
series
Oh, yeah.
have
I even-
protagonists that have plot armor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I called that out. I had like a 5-minute spiel that I went into about that, and I was like, "Listen, I'm not blasting the author. I'm not blasting the story. I'm not blasting any of the content of the story. But here's the bottom line: everybody that's ever played BattleTech knows a medium is not going to stand up against an assault for very long. I'm calling bullshit on the fact that a medium pilot won the open. Not saying it's impossible. I'm just calling bullshit. Now, for story reasons, obviously this guy had plenty of plot armor."
Mm-hmm.
He had at least 55 tons of plot armor.
Same reason that Phelan Kell lasted as long as he did in a Wolfhound against a Timberwolf.
Jeez.
Plot.
Against a Timberwolf of all mechs to go up against. Of all mechs.
Vlad Ward in a Timberwolf.
Oh, Jesus.
Phelan Kell in a Wolfhound.
Yeah.
Phelan Kell did get beat, but he got taken bondsman because in a little old light mech, he stood up to a Timberwolf for a while. Which just doesn't happen.
If you run away fast enough,
the Wolfhound cannot run away quite fast enough.
I believe, off the top of my head, the Wolfhound is something like a 6'9" at best.
If memory serves, you want a run of 11 or a jump of 8.
I was gonna say the Timberwolves are 5'8", so
yeah,
it's
Timberwolves
not
is
quite
5'8".
fast.
It's not very fast, but it's
it's
fast for a
it's
heavy.
called, if it has jump jets, you can win with terrain.
Yeah,
but that's
You
really
can.
hard to do.
I mean, you got to be intelligent about how you play it too.
And you have to win every roll.
Yes.
It also depends on the Omnipods the Timberwolf is rocking.
Yes, also true. At any rate, let's, as much as I love talking about BattleTech, let's get into the other game that I love talking about, which is Warhammer 40k.
Which is ours.
Which, as I mentioned last night.
So, Omar!
Oh, God. Yes, Rodance.
We shall know no fear.
Sure.
I can't believe you missed that. It's been literally the marketing slogan for the last several years for the boys in blue, man.
So, okay,
Ultramarines.
I hear you, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just simply want to throw out this as my only very flimsy defense.
We shall know no marketing?
No. I have heard so many variations of that line in various other franchises. It's easy for me to get a lot of them confused. And also, as I mentioned in Discord last night,
I'm just fucking with you. I'm teasing you a little bit because it was funny.
No, it was. It is.
Just making sure you're not gonna go down a rabbit hole when I'm.
No. I will admit freely, because I don't care. Like,
we shall know no references.
I don't know a lot of references. I mean, culturally,
I don't know many either. I was just shocked that you missed out on one that's all over the YouTubes.
But the thing, yeah, and I get it. You know, and Ultramarines right now are really big because Space Marine 2 came out in the last month. I get it. Here's the thing, I don't know a lot of the lore of Warhammer 40k, but in my defense, there is like a gigabyte of lore, and I know maybe a kilobyte. You know?
There is a lot.
There is a lot.
My favorite pieces of lore are all of the nicknames for the Primarch of the Ultra Smurfs. My personal favorites are Robot Gorilla Man and Rowboat Girly Man.
I love both of those names. I love both of those names.
Yeah, most of us remember Will Dane. His favorite line is Magnus did nothing wrong.
Yes, that's...
Somebody tried trolling
TTS,
me
yo.
in my Imperium Maledictum game through my 10-year-old son. Not that long ago. And I believe Magnus did no wrong was one of the two lines that my son was trying to very not loudly but very definitively announce, but I couldn't catch it because in both cases I was in the middle of a conversation with the game people that I was playing.
Who would do that?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure his name starts with an R and ends with Ev Everett. Previously on Tithes of Acheron, I didn't actually write anything for this part, so we're just gonna go with a cold open. We see the Acheron ferry, this sword class frigate floating in space. Am I right? Hold on one second. Did you see that text? You need to answer your mother. Apparently,
Well, a couple of
Remember
notes
answering
from
your mother,
last session
everybody.
because we got ended abruptly. I did
That's
want to secure the body of the pirate captain as well.
hey, give me 1 quick second, guys. Sorry.
Yai.
Remember to answer your mothers, everybody. Unless you hate
Yeah,
your mom. then-
no. My mom's already been in bed for like an hour and a half. I know better than to text her. She get me next time I see her on a Sunday.
That's fair. My mother would probably kill me if I texted her at this point.
I said
Okay,
answer, not
apologies.
text.
I had to explain to my son what was going on.
What was going on?
Well, he stayed
Personal
home.
family
You don't
stuff.
actually have to tell us.
The short version is this: his mom sent him a text earlier today. He didn't respond. She sent me a text a few minutes ago. I had not yet respond because I'm doing this, and then she's like starting to send the all question mark text to be like, "Hello." I'm like, "Oh, you need to answer your mom."
Do it now.
Yeah, so kind of like I'm getting caught in some of the splash on that, and I'm like, "Ooh." At any rate, we see the sword class frigate Acheron's Ferry floating in the black void of space, moving away from the Hermitage system, carrying or towing or otherwise escorted by the penitent traveler and the Wolfpack Raider surviving ship. Now, Rev, I think you were getting ready to say something before I
Yeah.
got
Just that
distracted and whatnot.
I couldn't remember where exactly did Warner remove the life from said previous pirate captain.
It was in the hangar deck of the Raider
No.
that you captured.
Where on him? Like, was his head blown off? Did he
I don't
get
remember.
shot of the chest?
I think it was a headshot. We can call it a headshot at this point. We can hand wave whatever.
I
happened
believe he
before.
got splattered all over the floor.
Right. Well, if there's any, he was wearing something fairly ostentatious. So if there is anything left of that,
It was the
I'd l-
feathered hat that the model had. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
well, you described him as being incredibly garish.
Of course. What starship captain in the 40K universe is not garish? Come on.
Right. But his body is being taken to cold storage on the ship.
You mean what's left of his body?
Yes.
That is
Why?
on the map there, or on the table, I should say, is the pirate captain.
Did you
model.
say why, Alterios, to me?
Yeah, above table. Why?
He feels the need to parade his victories around.
The need for speed. Wait, what?
Yeah. Well, let's just say that coronations need a triumphal march, and I'm arranging items for my train.
Oh.
Yeah, yes, including one captain or former first officer that he has locked.
Briefly,
up in the ship's-
captain, former first.
Yeah,
officer.
briefly, very briefly, captain. At any rate, we are diving into the warp to head on to Footfall from where we are. If you look on the map, I do have the Acheron's Ferry around the Hermitage. So you can see where we are on the map and where we're going. So, first things first, divining the auguries. The navigator attempts a challenging Psyniscience test with a +20 from House Mercator detailed charts for the Maw. So I need to look at my character sheet real quick for Anastasia Mercator. That almost didn't work. Psyniscience is 39, so I need a 59. Let me switch this over so people can see what we're doing.
No, didn't from some of the maps we got, isn't there a bonus for this?
Yeah, she has a +20 because the House Mercator has detailed charts of basically they've got the anywhere involving Footfall, the Temple, the Hermitage, Witch Curse World, the Battleground, and Port Wander. They have a +20
Woot.
from their detailed charts. So 59 or under, that is not it. She's going to use a fate point and re-roll that. Although that may not have been the best use of a face. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Well, that's a 60. What happens on a fail? Okay. That's what happens on a fail. So let me pull.
Hell yeah, we're going in the other direction, boys.
You boys ever been to Mexico?
You boys like
Crazy.
Mexico.
Space Mexico.
Yeah. Somebody roll a 1d10 for me, please. I will not tell you what this means just yet.
All right.
It will become pertinent later. I will forewarn you that a lower roll is better.
A lower roll is generally better.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I probably should not have telltaled that oof in there. Okay. So that is divining the auguries gone horrible. House Van Breeze, pre-warp rituals and traditions must be observed at the discretion of the Lord Commander. Or excuse me, the Lord Captain. There is nothing stopping you except your own personal choice. Would you like to do your usual, I believe it was singing hymns to the God Emperor while adding a new obol coin to the hull of the ship or something like that?
We are so what has apparently over some partly in my head canon and partly things that no one else has objected to as I've proposed. One of the symbols for the ship for the house, instead of just being a straight up B for Von Breeze, is a imperial style skull but with obols in the eyes.
Yes, I remember that image.
And so, but the reason that I sort of tried to make that image is because an imperial skull with obols in the eyes was what we were taking and creating and hanging in the chapel as part of the ritual, and then after the successful voyage, affixing it to the hull.
Correct. I believe it also started with something to the effect of taking either donations from the crew or loose change or something like that.
A single coin from every member of the crew, I think.
Something like
like
that.
To be melted into those skull.
Yeah, something along those lines. But there is no reason to not be doing this, so, and you've got absolutely all the time in the world. So quick yes or no, I suppose, is what we need here. I'm assuming yes, as we are doing this.
Yes.
Okay. Then I need a 1d100 versus crew morale. I believe our morale is currently at 100, not 101. Crazy? I recall vaguely a little bit of damage.
I think we lost a point of morale at the last battle.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe we did.
So,
Yeah.
While the odds on this roll are a 100, or 1 in 100, somebody please roll. Make sure you don't get double zeros. Oh, why couldn't that have been the divining auguries? Okay.
Because you got your dice roll cheater backwards.
Is that what it is? Well, let's hope we don't run into a lot of problems in the warp.
As a little flavor thing, I'm having the service crew go around and loosen the screws on every single service panel by like a quarter turn, so they can't seize up due to warp fuckery.
Okay. At this point,
Omar,
yes.
did we already make landfall on Hermitage?
Well, there was no landfall per se. Why? But what was the point to your question?
Because we were supposed to go to Hermitage to look for a replacement box.
No.
Lord Captain, I believe you have a rebuttal to this.
little bit of a misunderstanding. After we figure out how long we're going to be in the warp and traveling, so that Omar could prepare the appropriate rolls, the steps are going to be something as follows. We have our damage box.
Ah, yes.
Icarus and his technicians are going to disassemble said security box and check for any sort of fail-safe devices to keep it from blowing up the contents inside. Once completely disassembled, we will be able to examine the internal contents at our leisure. We are going to replace it with a box, a secure box off of our ship, which I'm assuming as a rogue trader who sends goods from point A to point B, some type of locking box is something we have plenty of. And once the contents have been removed, we are going to, through several different means, attempt to damage the box in such a way that we can claim it was damaged during the pirate fighting, and that we ever so graciously provided a free box for the contents out of the generosity of our hearts.
Yes, you really have to lay that part on thick, because most rogue traders would have charged the recipient for repacking their shit. Even though it's entirely their fault.
Right.
Oh, I love
Well,
Yes, we broke the box and we had to put
Well,
in a new one,
for
so
all-
you have to pay us more.
it.
Well, for all I know, these two navigators hired these pirates specifically to interfere, and they, in fact, themselves are responsible for the damage.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. This is the one that can be very entertaining or very degrading. All players need to make a willpower test as the ship translates into the warp. However, this time, your GM, being a gracious and forgiving GM, has elected to allow for modifiers based on individual situations. So, the Lord Captain, for some strange reason, I have granted you a plus 20. So please, at this time, make your willpower roll with a plus 20 modifier.
Plus or minus? I always get
You
mixed
add
up.
20 to your actual willpower.
I am gonna reroll
I
that
think
one.
I saw that. So did everybody in the universe. That was a 98. That is an 87. What is your modifier? Or excuse me, what is your willpower? What was the target number you were going for?
You mean what is my willpower per my sheet?
Yeah, willpower plus the 20. What was the target number?
My willpower plus my 20 would be a 53.
So you missed it by 3 degrees, which means
Oh boy.
okay, hold on. Let's do this. Rev 3 degrees of failure. Okay. For who's next? For Reinhardt, you have had extensive adventures in the warp and in space and whatnot. So Reinhardt,
Adventures in space.
you get willpower plus 30, please.
Ooh. All right,
believe
my
you even
willpower
fought
is
some chaos,
41.
I believe you actually fought some chaos bullshit in your time.
I have in my backstory fought
Yes.
chaos bullshit, which makes me testy when I see it.
Yeah, I bet.
So I need to roll 71 or better. Watch me not get it.
57. So
Hey,
you
I
are
got
good to
it.
go. Jace, you have spent much time on a ship, traveling through the void, traveling through the warp. You also receive a plus 30.
All right, that gives me an 80 or better.
Would you like to fate roll that, or fate point that?
I will fate point that.
He will fate point the holy living daylights out of that.
Well, unfortunately, you only got 1 degree of failure, though, so there's that.
Oh my gosh.
Impressively, you rolled worse, but I digress. Winter!
Worse than me, even.
Winter,
Technically.
you've had a lot of psyker training. You were on a black ship flying the warp back to Terra at one point. You had even been kidnapped by pirates. You receive a plus 20. Please make your willpower roll at this time.
Against a 74.
74. Impressive.
I have a 54 at base. I'm a willpower class.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Would you like to fate point that?
Yes.
Omar must have restarted his
Yeah, that's just blame
his
me.
weighted
There we
dice.
go. I feel better
Rodance
now.
is good. Icarus.
Oh, see, I called him out on it, and look at that, the first low roll.
Icarus, you have what the Adeptus Adeptus Mechanicus, wow, would like to call a well-disciplined mind, even though the flesh is still quite weak. You have a plus 20. Please make your roll
Okay.
at this time.
I feel like the Adeptus Mechanicus is a Jewish subfaction.
It's a subsect.
This is a 52 I have to get for. So
52 total?
yeah.
Would you like to fate point that 3 degrees of
Yes.
failure?
Yeah. What to be worse?
Yeah, it will be. No, actually, it will not. Okay. Table 2-5. Let's see. 2-5. All right. Rev, we'll start with you. Please roll 1d100 plus 30.
Wonderful.
Oof. 121. That will give you mutants everywhere. The character must make a perception test every time he interacts with another friendly character, unless he has already made such a test for that character. If he passes the test, and at least one of the dice he rolls results in a 9, he becomes convinced that the character is hiding a mutation acquired during translation and must react to him accordingly. Otherwise, he finds no evidence of the character's mutation. For now. So Rev gets mutants everywhere.
And now our Mechanicus friend who thought he was mutating and Rev should not come into contact.
Well, that mutation thing that Icarus had last translation is no longer relevant.
I'm just joking.
I hear you. It's funny though. It is. Jace, would you be kind enough to roll 1d100 plus 10, please? 38 becomes a 48. Malignancy. The character's tormented psyche bubbles to the surface as a physical effect. He rolls on table 10-8 malignancies in the main book. Let's see what the main book 10-8 is. Give me one moment here. What is table 10-8? That is 10-2, 10-3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I need a 1d100 roll, please.
What is this for?
You have developed a malignancy due to the perturbations of the warp. And you will have this effect.
Do fake points affect this in any way?
It's just a flat D100 roll for now. And it will only apply while you're in the warp. 86. Bloodlust. Oh dear. Murderous rage is never far from the character's mind. After being wounded in combat, you must test willpower to incapacitate or allow his enemies to flee rather than killing them outright, even if your intent is otherwise.
Yeah, not bad.
So, shouldn't be a problem until you have to shoot somebody.
Yep.
But once,
And then you really want them dead.
yeah,
I was gonna
like-
say, if you're shooting at things during warp travel, there's probably good odds
it's
you want them
probably
dead
bigger
anyway.
problems to worry
Yeah.
about. Okay. At this point, the navigator needs to make a roll to find the Astronomicon. So I'm going to be rolling Cynitions plus 20, which should be a 59. We have discovered, let's see, if the navigator succeeds, they receive a plus 10 bonus to any navigation warp test for the remainder of the trip. I did succeed. This would be a good time to do what we got to do about the box, as we have entered the first 5-day phase of what should be a 5-day journey. What are we doing about this box, gentlemen? And lady?
Well, because I'm paranoid and seeing
Yeah,
Mutants.
you need to make a willpower test, I believe it was, when you interact with people.
perception, I believe.
Mm,
Not that there's much of a difference in terms of where my skills are at for those two things.
probably not, but let's see what... It is a perception test. It is challenging. So just your straight up perception plus 0. If you succeed and one of the dice is a 9, you believe that they have a mutation they are trying to hide. Otherwise, i.e. failure or success, you just can't find any evidence.
Okay, well that's actually better than I was thinking. I was thinking
It's more of
because-
a nuisance than it is anything else.
Right.
So what is
Um,
your perception? And who are you interacting with first? Because this also applies to NPCs.
Right. Well, I don't.
I'm not going to have you sit here and make rolls all night long because the crew is 27,000 people, but
I don't directly interact with the riffraff. Okay.
that's also a fair point. But I
the
could
so-
imagine as you're
so-
walking from one area of the ship to another, you're like, that low-rated crewman is hiding something. I fucking know it.
Well, actually, if I feel like there's mutants on board my ship, I'm probably
Just gonna boot them off.
keeping myself to my quarters
That's possibly that's possibly an
and
action.
telling my security forces to be on high alert for mutants.
At any rate, please, what would you like to do about this box that has become mangled and almost unserviceable when Winter and others attempted to open it?
Just Winter.
Whichever.
Well, the first thing I'm doing is I am tasking the well, the Seneschal's probably got his hands full, and the Void Master knows the ship pretty well. So I will be asking our engine seer to dismantle an object for me, and our Void Master to procure a secure cargo box
Okay.
of approximately the same size.
I think
My mic cut
finding-
out for approximately the same size. It stopped being green on the thing, and I just wanted to check.
No, I
you're
heard
good. You're good. I think finding a replacement box of a similar size is a fairly easy task. Within a single day, this is easily accomplished. It's just a matter of finding the right section of your stores and finding a box that's not being used that you can easily replace. To disassemble this box with the intent of not damaging anything inside, not setting off any alarms or traps or whatever. Icarus, I need a tech use. I'll give you a plus 10 on it.
All right. It'll be a 63.
Does there need to be any other kind of check for traps, or is you putting it all in one roll?
I'm putting it all into one just to make it simple.
I'll just, and I'll,
You gonna put a fate point on it for 70? 73 or whatever?
yeah, why not?
I mean, you've got a handful of fate points. Might as well use them or
Yeah.
not. Not like you're going
Seven.
into the warp and potentially facing chaotic entities.
Nope, we're good.
That is about 5 degrees of success. So, yeah, you easily find both. There are no traps, there are no alarms, no warding, no alerts. And you are able to disassemble it. Inside the box are exactly as what one may expect based on the conversations that were had with the Scrivener at Port Wander. It is literally a number of books that none of you are overly religious, I believe. So none of these books strike you as particularly damning or non-compliant with the cult of the Emperor. But they are certainly questionable. And if one were to believe that a more strict member of the ecclesiarchy were to be coming through, perhaps removing these books to a safer location would not be a bad idea. In short, go ahead.
What sort of questionability?
Just a matter of interpretation. I cannot think of a good example, but let's just say something like what might be good for a Lutheran may not necessarily be good for a Baptist. And we're somewhere in the ballpark. Because I can't come up with a better way to describe it.
There are flavors of Puritans
Yes.
in the ecclesiarchy and in the Inquisition.
Some are very much a letter of the law, you will not, period. And some are more of the intent of the law. You really should not. The individual that is reportedly coming into Port Wander is more of a clear-cut, there is no room for discussion. You are or you are not a heretic. And if you are not a heretic, it's only a matter of time.
Formal equivalency versus dynamic equivalency in textual critical terms.
That's some really deep fucking terms, and you almost lost me.
So, would any of what sort of topics are these books on?
To be honest, I
Strictly-
don't have an answer because I didn't go that deep into it. I will say this. Whatever topic you want that is within reason to be okay for the average human in the Imperium to read.
One of them could be a biography of Sebastian Thor.
Sure.
Is there? Well, I was more saying, is there any reason for us to copy any of said information?
Oh, no,
in the
there's
books?
no, like, metagame wise, there's nothing particular. These are, a couple of them are more fictional based, some are actual
Well, not even
accounts or whatever.
metagame wise, just simply.
Yeah, there's like, there's not even necessarily anything archival about them. It's just generic information that was produced by one author that wasn't nearly as famous as that one guy from the Administratum that has the galaxy-wide renown for having written a story about Robot Gilliman. Sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes, we do.
I look at all the books in disdain. None of these are technical manuals.
Yeah, exactly.
Boring.
That's right.
Boring.
I look at them in disdain because none of them are cheesecake. I am a former guardsman.
I was going to say, you look at them in disdain because none of them have anything to do with making money.
have nothing to do with money or not at all related to the infantryman's uplifting primer.
That's
None of these
right.
have anything to do with the new cryptocurrencies. I hate them.
And where's the latest guns and ammo?
Guns and ammo. Could you imagine guns and ammo still existing 40,000 years from now? It's not even a fan magazine type thing. It is literally just, this is the guns that we have at this planet. This is the guns at this planet. These are the ammunition you need to use on these guns. It's just a catalog written by the Adeptus Mechanicus.
No, I mean,
Probably
like,
the
it's
40K universe, they probably have the name like armaments and munitions or something.
Yeah.
it was the only publication not destroyed by the Techno-Barbarians.
Yeah, there you go. Because they needed the guns and ammo themselves. They thought they found tech manuals, and what they found really was a love letter for guns and ammo. All right. So you managed
one of the Mechanicus' sacred rights on firearms is actually just a guns and ammo.
It's a quote from one of the magazines from 10,000 years ago. So you disassemble the box. You've got the contents out safe and secure. You have a replacement box. Sealing it up is no biggie. I believe at this point you wanted to something along the lines of reassemble and then bash the ever-loving fuck out of said original box.
If it is such minor items, if it is, like low risk, not super heresy, I was mainly wanting to. My primary interest was not to steal from said individual, but to make sure that we weren't transporting bigger heresies than I was aware of.
No, this is, for all intents and purposes, strictly, on the up and up. There is no trickery involved. It very literally was, as the Scrivener said, some questionable materials that maybe this new Inquisitor was not going to be happy if he happened to come across, and maybe I should move him to another location.
Okay. Well, then they
Sounds
are
good.
carefully packaged inside the new box, and we'll probably just dispense with attempting to sabotage the old box.
Skip that step altogether, huh?
Yeah, if it's not a high risk item, like what's he gonna care? We tell him the original box was destroyed and we have saved the contents.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's us continue then with our first section of 5 days. Let's see.
Is there anything else anybody else wants to do?
Well, I'm about to drop a bit of a bombshell on.
Oh boy.
I need a 3d10 plus 50 roll. This will be the number of days that you spend in the war.
Oh.
Because your
Oh.
navigator fucked up.
Well,
I'll
I
go
made
ahead
the
and
last.
roll it.
I made the last chip roll.
I'll go ahead and roll it.
So you're gonna have plenty of time to do whatever you want to do, include, can we get out of fucking warp now, please? 11, so 61 days in the warp. That
That's
will
not
be 13 5-day stretches or portions thereof for encounters in the warp. So, correction. Let's remember that number, 61 days, because that's what we're looking at right now. The navigator makes a challenging navigation warp test plus any additional modifiers, including the plus 10 that I just picked up a moment ago. So that is going to be, let me see what my navigation skill here is. Navigation warp is 42, so I need a 52. Let's put this on the screen for the folks at home. I need a 52. Let me see how many more fate points I have. I might want to use one of these right now. Where is fate? Oh, no, I have 2 fate points. I've already used one, so I think we'll hold off on using a fate point right now. So yeah, I need a, what did I say, 52 or better?
Is this an NPC?
Yes, this is an NPC. Ah, we're good. Okay.
Okay.
I rolled a 23 against a 52. What is, let's see. Degree of failure. Refer to table 2-4. Okay. 2-4 says I have 3 degrees of success. So that will actually change from 61 to 1/4. So we now have 3 5-day stretches or portions thereof to deal with warp travel encounters. Our first warp travel, and let me double check my notes. Hold on. For each 5-day stretch or portion thereof, there's a chance for warp travel encounters. Roll once on table 2-6. Except you guys have the Warpsbane Hull, so there will actually be 2 rolls, and then you guys determine which one we suffer. So 2-6. All right, one of you roll 1d100. The other one, somebody else roll the second one, and then we will discuss. More accurately, you guys will discuss which warp encounter you suffer. Who would like to roll first?
No, I just rolled a 3d10.
Ro, you want to have a roll?
Yeah, so what do I need to roll?
It's just a
Just
1d100.
the decent, percentage.
Okay. I don't have to add any modifiers.
53. That is spontaneous inhuman combustion. The GM chooses one component of this. If this encounter manifests, that component is suddenly and inexplicably set on fire. Please make a different, better result.
Alrighty. Should I roll the second one?
It's up to you guys how you want to break this down.
All right. Whee!
61.
I'm guessing that won't be better.
Warp Storm, physical encounter.
Nope.
I will say this. Let me read this whole thing first. If the navigator does not avoid this encounter, the vessel is pounded by a warp storm. If the ship's Galler field is fully operational, the GM rolls 1d10 twice on the critical hits table and chooses the lowest result. If the Galler field is damaged, he rolls 1d10 once on that table, and if it's not operational, he rolls once on the table and adds 2. So, the thing about
This
encounters...
is exactly what we had last time.
Yes. Now, not necessarily through revisement, but a better understanding of the rules, the navigator does have the option of attempting to avoid this. So what this will look like, this is, well, let me ask this. These are both physical encounters, I believe. We double check. inhuman. Oh, it doesn't say for the. So you have either the spontaneous inhuman combustion or the warp storm. The warp storm is a physical encounter. Uh, we we can just assume that maybe there's like a rift or something in the warp that causes this inhuman combustion. So that will. I'm going to treat it as though it is a physical encounter, and both of these are basically going to be handled the same way as far as resolution. The navigator makes a challenging warp test. On success, the helmsman makes an ordinary piloting test, and if both of those tasks are successful, the encounter is avoided. Otherwise, the ship is embroiled in the encounter and it must be overcome.
For further reference,
Yes.
when the navigator is making a navigation check,
Mm-hmm.
is my +10 to their roll as a command order
It is
applicable?
viable. I will allow it. I don't know if the rules specifically allow that or not, but I will allow it.
Okay. Well, then I'm slightly miffed that we didn't use it on the original navigation roll.
I don't think it would have helped because I think I failed that one roll by like 3 degrees.
Yeah,
It was like an
not
80.
pretty.
It was like 80 something versus a 50 something. So it wouldn't have made much difference.
Omar has been rolling low. How are you feeling, Jace?
I will. It sounds like
I've been all over the place so far.
It does sound like either Anastasia or Jace is going to get a +10 on this attempt to avoid. The other option too, I forgot, by the way.
What is the navigator's navigating target at?
Okay, stand by because I
Or
did
can I
skip
be that
I did skip
metagaming?
one step. The navigator has a chance to avoiding it. The navigator can attempt to avoid the encounter by rolling to detect it, which is ordinary +10 Cynicians. So let me roll that first, because that will have an impact on everything else. I forget what my Cynicians is. I believe it's a 39 or something.
How does the navigator only have 39 Cynicians anyway?
Stuff.
That's with strength.
Things.
That's with trained. Because it's based on perception, and her perception isn't the highest. It's also not the lowest. All right, so 49.
Call me crazy, but isn't like 90% of a navigator's job perceiving?
Listen, I don't make the rules, and sometimes not even the character sheet. Actually, I did make this.
Why are you rolling already?
That's my option, my chance to detect the encounter and be able to respond to it. On failing the test, encounter is spotted but not in time to prepare, and I missed it by 39, 49. I missed it by 1 degree of success, so it's fine. In short, this continues to play out as I've already detailed. So
there are fate options. When there are fate options, you don't roll until we go over the fate options.
Well, I hear you. Hold on. So Anastasia has 1 fate point remaining, and because she has fate points, you guys can't really use yours on her.
Right.
But she could have used hers to increase the challenge, or to
get a bonus or what have you. The problem is there's going to be a few more rolls for her, so I'm kind of holding out on, like, this is one that I might want to re-roll. This particular roll is not one to re-roll. Does that make sense?
Fair enough.
Okay.
The next roll. Now, what that
can rely on Jace to be awesome.
This particular roll that I just made was to realize that there is an encounter coming and being able to respond. I was not able to respond. We're still going to hit it, but it also doesn't like penalize us. We just continued as per normal, which now is the challenging +0 navigation warp, but I do have a +10 on that from previous rolls. So now I'm going to say 59, but I need to double check. Navigation warp. Nope, 52 is what I have. So now I need a 52 or under. Holy shit.
Jesus.
I'm warping, or not warping, I'm fate pointing that one. Unless somebody tells me not to. Because if I don't pass this, then Jace doesn't even get a roll and we hit the storm or the blow up fire bits. It's up to you guys.
Please roll that. 99 is terrible.
That is also a failure, unfortunately.
It's not as bad though.
No. All right.
Well, can we
Go
not?
ahead.
You can
Can
only
we
use a
not
fate
try
point once.
to-
What was your question, Jace?
Again, I would have tried to increase the chances of that happening by spending a fate point.
The problem is because she has her own fate points. You guys can't use your fate points for her.
Isn't she out of fate points now?
She is now, but she still has the, for lack of a better thing to call it, the trait to have fate points.
Right. So
Okay.
it's not the fact that she's out of fate points. It's the fact that she can potentially use fate points at all.
Correct. Whereas your other run-of-the-mill NPCs, the situation might be different. So we do need that answer. Do we take a random part of the ship catching on fire, or do we just take critical damage?
I'd rather have a random part of the ship catch fire, personally.
Okay.
Have the Mechanicus go after it.
Yeah, I don't know what the risks of a ship fire looks like, but
I'm looking it up right now just to be.
I feel like potential critical damage versus guaranteed critical damage is.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Jace could still get us out of the warp storm safely.
Well, you're in the storm. The storm hits. I was unable to steer away from it or give Jace instructions on how to do so. So now we have to figure out fire. So under the critical hit fire result, alarms scream through the hull as hungry flames roar through passageways and compartments, etc., etc., etc. The fire falls. That's not telling me how to resolve it. How do I fucking put out a fire? Oh, here we go. Fire. To put out a fire, a character must organize a firefighting team of crew and make a difficult -10 command test. This counts as an extended action. That's fine. Alternatively, the ship's captain can choose to vent the burning compartments into the void. If he does, the fire is immediately extinguished. However, the burning component now counts as depressurized. Instead of the normal damage to crew population and morale, the ship suffers only 1d5 crew population damage. Most of the crew already fled that area, but 2d10 morale damage. Nobody likes seeing their comrades vented into, in this case, not the void, but the warp. So that's what happens with the fire. Basically, you'll need to make a difficult command test. Jesus Christ. Make a difficult -10 command test to get a crew together to go put out the fire wherever we determine that location is, or vent that place, lose some people and morale.
Pardon me.
Yep. Or, obviously if none of this works, then that item is now damaged for the remainder of the trip. Or until repaired, I should say.
Can we
A
organize
command
team
test
to
is
put
based
it
off
out?
fellowship, right?
I believe so, yes. The other option is taking the storm hit, which to resolve it at this point, I roll, because the Geller field is operational, I roll twice on the critical hits table and take the lower result, which is on 223.
But I don't know what the critical hits table looks like, so I can't.
It is on PDF page 223. Yeah, 223 in the Rogue Trader core book. But the choice is yours. Either the fire or the critical.
Go with the fire.
Uh-huh.
If we go with the fire, do we have the option to organize a team to try to put it out?
Yes.
And still have the option to void the section if they fail?
Yes. You can do that. The penalty there will be that
More crew morale, I guess.
no, I think it'll be, I guess the best way to explain it is if you fail the command test, then the choice is vent it. And yeah, I think instead of the 1d10 and 2d10, I think I would be like 1d10 plus 5 and 2d10 plus 5. We'll just boost the numbers slightly to represent the fact that you actually have people in the area that will get caught up in it. If that makes sense, the way I explained it.
Um,
So
Okay, so in addition, when we organize this firefighting squad, we should tell them to put on void suits.
I have to tell you this. I hear you, and you're not wrong. You are in the warp. Once
Oh, that's right.
Correct.
once you leave the Gellerfield, you're done. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
You are food for the icky things.
Icky things. Is that what we're calling them now? Now, if you were in the void, I might have allowed for some crazy roll that probably wouldn't have worked, but at least make the attempt. But in this particular case, because it is the warp, absolutely no chance. So, really, you're almost better off just like, no, go down there in your skivvies, because at least maybe it'll be slightly faster.
Yeah.
well, looking at the table and considering that it has the complete destruction of our ship as some of the critical hit options.
Yeah.
Well,
keep in mind, I'm not going to roll higher than a 10, and I get to roll twice and choose the lower number.
Right, but that still means there's still
yeah.
Fire is the midway option of that critical hit list.
Yes. Let me see. Chooses one component. That component suddenly inexplicably set it on fire. Actually, I'm just gonna look at your character or your ship's sheet, and I'll just choose one of those things. So the critical hits table roll would only be if you actually hit the storm. If you choose the fire, then I'm just gonna randomly determine one of these things, like the Jovian Pattern Class 2 drive.
I know that, but I'm saying
The cats are complaining.
Okay.
There is a 4 out of 9 chance that it's something less than a fire.
Yeah.
Slightly higher because he gets to choose the lower of the two, but still.
So the other option
we
is
should go with the fire.
Personally, I'm math-wise, without having sat here and done all of it, I'm leaning towards and Omar's being really generous with this. He should have just had something happen. But
well, you guys have to choose between which of these two calamities that you
I
have
know
to
that,
suffer,
but I'm saying
so.
Normally you would choose.
Yeah, if you guys didn't have the Warpsbane Hull, I would be. It would just be the simple first roll. You would have taken the fire.
I'm leaning toward the storm critical hit because he gets to roll the lower of the two, and statistically speaking, that gives us better odds that it's below a 5, and anything below a 5 is less than a fire. Thrusters damaged, sensors damaged, some other type of internal damage, but it doesn't involve morale or crew penalties.
So basically, we're choosing between the chance of
getting
lower
better
than a fire
versus the chance of getting worse than a fire, outweighing the fact that the fire is pretty bad.
So
are
we going with the critical hits?
There's hull breach, decapitation, surly tech sprites, and engines crippled and fire are the top 5. So roll 2 and go with the lower. We'll see what the storm does.
Alrighty. First roll. 2. Second roll. 7. So 2 internal damage.
That's a 1, not a 7.
Am I looking at? Yep, you're right. So I guess we'll go with 1. So the storm slams in like a wave, and it just wrenches. Oh my god! Hold on. Okay. It just basically rattles the keel hull of the ship like to the core. A lucky hit has wrenched open the ship's hull, exposing it to the void. You do have the Gellerfield. The attacker selects one component, only choosing one he knows of. That is not the bridge or the plasma warp drives. Emergency bulkheads slam into place to seal off the compartment. This compartment is depressurized. So, what that means for you guys... Whoops. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8.
Oh no,
9,
the
10.
officer's food stores.
I'm gonna roll random number, and I'm gonna go with the cargo
Honestly,
hold. The cargo hold takes a hit.
Hey,
Cargo
we
hold
need the
takes a
cargo hold to get
hit.
rattled.
So, you on the bridge, you're like,
tell me, does the new box that we put the books in get damaged?
But that would be hilarious. It's the old box. It gets further smashed. Yeah, so you get a warning series of indicators. You've got servo skulls screaming, text sprites screaming at the computer operators on the bridge. It appears that not so much the cargo hold, maybe it's more like the lighter bay next to it, that suddenly gets exposed to hold vacuum. And more importantly, and much more deadly, just on the other side of the, probably like an 1/8-inch thick invisible line of the Geller Field wall, turning everything in the void into this gasoline spill on water color coalesce and whatever crazy chaos shit. But yeah, your ship has taken a hit, and the lighter bay is now exposed to the vacuum. Compartments are being sealed off, but you're going to have a bit of a time offloading via the shuttle bays until that gets repaired. Fortunately for you, that can be repaired in the void, also much more quickly once you make it to footfall. That is
no, slight inconvenience.
We only have 2 more of these to go.
Yeah, only 2 more. Only 2 more. So
Warp travel is fun.
Well, over this 5-day course before our next one is, I'd
Yeah.
like to get that repaired.
Well,
if at all
unfortunately,
possible.
yeah, the best you can do is make sure the seals stay intact. This requires going out onto the hull, which you're not gonna do in the warp.
They can't
No.
put a piece of
Uh,
ceramide on it from the inside and weld it into place.
the problem is the visual proximity of the warp itself. I don't know exactly how it works in 40K, but I assume if you stare into the warp, eventually the warp eats your soul. In a very literal sense, probably. And also horrifyingly, painfully. You lore masters of the 40K universe, please tell me if I'm crazy.
I do know it's not a good idea. I think there are shutters that slam shut.
On Windows, yes.
Yeah.
You don't have those
so you're
right
not
now.
supposed to be looking at the warp directly.
Don't look at the warp. Don't.
Right.
Don't
But if we are taking a large slab of metal and placing it over a hole and welding it in
you know
place,
what?
you're
I
not
will
looking at
allow
the warp.
this. I will give you this. If you can make a command -20, and the reason why it's -20 is because they are some damn pretty lights, and there are some damn alluring things in the warp that will easily grab your attention. So the 20 is to see if your crew can stay focused on task and complete this task and repair this, or will they be lost and sucked literally into the warp?
Well, I'll tell you this for free. If any of them has ADD, they're fucked.
Or if they're on LSD. So if you would like to make a command -20, by all means. That looks like I'm going to be rolling for crew loss.
Command, come on, Rev, command them.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Are you going to fate point that, Rev? You failed.
I'm debating. I know.
A considerable margin, I believe. What's your?
If I'd known that it wasn't going to be more than 5 people going in there to repair a hole, and crew loss was an issue, I'm not sending in a squadron of people to go put a plate over a hole.
Well, it might be more than a simple plate. In my mind, I'm picturing something.
Am I gonna have to go in there and babysit them?
I thought this was like a large chunk of
This
ship.
is like I'm picturing something like you're gonna need at least the size of a standard 4x8 sheet of plywood, or well, in this case, metal. That's what I was picturing.
Fixing bulkheads on a ship is not simple business.
No.
Right, but it's also not oh, here's 100 people dead, which is a crew loss statistic.
No,
Well,
it
depends
I'm
on the
only
size
gonna
of the ship.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll 1d10 and add 1 for every degree of failure. That's how many people are gonna die.
Yeah, but like when you look at the crew loss tables, it's not one person died; it's hundreds of people died at a minimum.
Oh, okay? I'm just gonna roll straight. Oh shit, that's actually no. You're right, because that would be 1d10 plus 1% of your crew population.
Yes,
Yeah.
percentages
Yeah, I
of
forgot about that part.
populations on ships this big.
I forgot about that part. Go ahead, Rodance. You were gonna ask
Yeah,
something.
so you could technically look out the windows as long as the Geller field is up,
Uh-huh.
from what I can see. Looking at it with okay, assuming the fact that you aren't instantly rended or your body is turned into mush, looking at it will probably drive you insane and shear your soul off.
Yes, that's the reason why I went with command -20, because you got to keep these guys focused on not looking at the swirling lights, a la Poltergeist. For those of you, I think everybody here is old
But
enough to know
you
what I'm
missed
talking
my
about.
point. Even if it's a 4x8 sheet, once it takes 2 seconds to slide that into place.
You still got to
once
seal it
it's-
into place. Go ahead.
You
I'm
still have
listening.
to seal it, but once you have it in place and you're sealing it, you're not looking at the warp anymore.
Well, right, and my point is
So there's like 0.5 seconds that someone's looking at the warp. I shouldn't need to make a command test for them to not look until the thing is in place.
I see your argument, and I hear you. Let me introduce you to the allure of pretty lights and voices. Dark.
I am ADHD. I'm fully aware, but I'm also aware that if looking at the pretty lights mean my death, I'm going to be staring at the opposite direction until I feel that metal hit the bulkhead.
You would.
Something tells me we have different levels of distractibility.
Well, what I'm hearing is we have different levels of discipline, which is the whole point of this role. And I really feel like I'm kind of splitting hairs by pointing that out, and I'm not trying to be antagonistic. I promise you I'm not. I'm trying to give a fairly
this is why I was
representative.
saying if me or the navigator is going to have to go babysit them, because both of us have a less likely chance of insta freaking out and dying by looking at the warp.
Also, you're blind.
Yeah.
Which helps with the not physically looking at the warp bit.
That is true.
Yeah, that's why I'm assuming I'm babysitting them.
Okay. Rodance, could you have Winter make a command -20 roll, please? Actually,
there's no point. I don't have the command trained.
Ah, yes.
I think Rev is the only one with command trained at this point.
Do we have any sort
Well, the thing is, I'm saying that if I go with the people fixing it, it should make the command roll easier. Because there will be a physical presence of senior staff there. Because I'm not affected by the warp because I can't fucking see it.
Rev, go ahead.
And the navigator can because they know how to close their eye to prevent them from seeing it.
Well, they also, like, literally stare into the warp as a matter of daily bullshit.
Will the servo skulls go, man? Could we have, like, the servo skulls hoist the metal?
Servo skulls.
Servitors to the rescue.
And servitors.
Until they come back wanting to murder
No,
everyone.
We lost Mr. Fell.
Until the servitors and servo skulls all come back with murderous rage.
I need Fell alive for the parade.
Jesus, I thought you've already lobotomized him and renamed him to Archimedes or something.
Yes, but Archimedes is going to be there as a display of what happens to those who cross me.
Gotcha.
He was once a revered member of a royal house, and now he is revered. Yes, but I'm going to say that.
Acheron basically said, "Yeah, fuck that guy. Let's go." His loss. All right. I will allow, if you choose to re-roll, it will be without the -20 because Winter. It sounds like Winter is going to go down to the lighter bay to make sure that these knuckleheads snap weld a chunk of metal into place without staring into the void. I'm sorry, into the warp. If you want to spend a fate point.
So yeah, I will just go down there and babysit their dumbasses because I can look all the fuck I like.
I can't spend more fate points, but okay.
Do I have to spend fate points to make the roll check easier?
It's fine. We're good.
There we go.
Behold,
the lighter bay is repaired
success.
after much after much susurration and discuss, it is done. Is there anything we want to do?
Well, I know that
Go ahead.
role-playing has suddenly become more popular with theater kids, but we should probably start introducing it to the debate kids.
Well, speaking of theater kids, you have 5 days before the next warp encounter. Is there anything that anybody in the crew would like to get after during this time? Any scenes that they would like to do with other NPCs or other player characters? Since we're going to be in the warp for a little bit.
I'm still making attempts to get to know. Well, I would be paranoid of the
Yeah,
monsters.
don't forget you got to make that perception roll.
Yeah. Well, I just rolled a 6, so I should be good for at least a couple rolls. It's a success and a 9, right?
Correct.
Yeah, on a success and a 9 on either of the 2 dice, you have. I forgot exactly what it said.
So
you have
since
continuing. You have continuing suspicions, I believe is what it was.
Okay.
Let's see. If you pass the test and at least one of the dice he rolls results in a 9, he becomes convinced that the character is hiding a mutation acquired during translation and must react to him accordingly. Oh no! So basically, you are a mutant. Show me your mutation. Is on success and there is a 9. Anything else is you find no evidence for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I doing?
So
I was writing a note. What was I writing this note for?
um
Get your paranoid mutant hunting on.
The Lord Captain thinks everybody's an X-Man.
Look, I know he gets some hate, but I'm picking Cyclops.
Is it because you get to shoot lasers?
From his eyes.
Yeah.
How does that work? Does that mean anytime his eyes are open?
No,
that
lasers is
microdistance
a
between his...
common misconception. He does not shoot lasers. He
You're right.
has
They're
eyes that are
ruby beams.
portals to the dimension of punch. He has kinetic blasts that fly from his eyes.
You should have just gone with he's kind of like a navigator, except he has 2 eyes, and whenever he opens them up, the warp comes spewing out at high velocity.
actually that nerd's got 4 eyes, and we all know it.
All right. Any scenes before we move to the next series of encounters?
I'm pretty sure that my character is going to be spending a lot of time walking around the ship, keeping an eye on everyone, especially her people, because most of them are easily troubled.
Easily troubled.
Look, they're like had half their minds burned out, becoming psychers. I have to babysit them. I'm like one of the functional ones.
I'll be right back.
Like a bridge over troubled waters. Winter lays them down.
I am frequently getting Reinhardt on the Fox asking if there's any way that we can start conducting sweeps for mutants.
Ironically, Reinhardt, you are aware, I'm sure after the 3rd or 4th time in 2 days that he's asked this question, that there is normally a rat catcher patrol that goes out.
Yes, the twist catcher.
Yes, thank you. I knew twist was in there, I just couldn't remember exactly where. The twist catch that goes to the lowest decks, the lowest lows of the population of your ship's crew, specifically looking for mutants and other heretics and criminals. So you can throw that back at him, or maybe do some delving of your own.
I will do both. I will... My Lord Captain, I will happily conduct whatever basic patrols and increase the security, as I do not fancy icky things in the hallways. But don't we have a twist catcher for that stuff? That I can still increase my patrols, but perhaps there's someone else you should be talking to.
Yes. First, just so that everyone is above any sort of questioning, please submit yourself to the twist catcher for inspection,
Yeah, that won't be a problem.
and then coordinate him with efforts. I want the upper decks particularly checked. I have a bad feeling.
Oh, he's usually not up here. I think he smells a bit. But I can have him put on some deodorant and see what we can do. Yeah, mine, Lord Captain. I'll be right back.
Hans, check for Franz while you're down there.
I believe the actual role is Twist Catch. His name is going to be Germanus von Gerben. I don't know if that's
Yes.
the actual word or not, but I just feel like the word germ had to be in there at least once. So Germanus von Gerb is slightly put off when
Wait,
you
Van Gerb? He's a noble?
Von or Van?
Which
Von
one's-
is
which-
German, Van is Dutch.
yes, and they
But
both
they're both
listen.
they're
I grew up in a city that is heavily influenced by the Dutch. I will
Sweet.
tell you right now, none of them motherfuckers are noble. Probably because this is the United
Not
States.
now.
But
Von, Von is just a location name.
yeah, that just means
It
literally
literally
means
means
of
from.
or from. Yeah, same thing with
Mhm.
Van, more or less.
But normally the ones who would put that in their name were important people anyway.
Okay, Germanus Gerb. How about that?
All right.
I'm assuming Reinhardt, you are going down to Germanus
Ja,
Gerb's
guten Tag,
shack of an office.
Germanus. Herr Germanus.
Archmilitants, I was not expecting you today. He looks around very nervously. I hope all is well. Yeah.
Yeah, all is as well as it can be, what with the whole rupture while we're in the warp and all of that. But that has been repaired and dealt with.
As
The
one would expect in such a journey.
the captain has made a request that you and I would coordinate, and spend some attention searching the upper decks in addition to the lower decks for possible mutations as a result of
Upperdex. What is he thinking?
warp incursion.
I apologize. I'm stunned. I'm shocked. I'm left in dismay. I could not imagine mutants on the upper decks. I fear my emotions have got the better of me, and I misspoke against our glorious Lord Captain. The upper decks, they smell a little funny. I don't know if I
Yeah.
should go up there.
Well, there is something that I can give you that will protect you a certain amount from the strange smells up there, though it might also smell strange to you. It is called Old Spice.
The Olden Spice.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
The other
oldest
thing,
spice.
the other thing is I'm of the opinion that the captain does not believe that the mutants are pre-established mutants, shall we say. I believe his concern is what with the exposure to the warps there might be subtle mutations. And your expert
I've
eye
got
would
one
be
for
of
you.
value.
I have one for you. Come. And he gets up and he goes to, I guess for lack of a better term, the jail. This is
Okey-dokes.
not the brig. This is not the brig. This is where the
Mhm.
mutants would be held until, questioning or what have you.
Until they were turned into corpse starch.
Or yeah, exactly. They were held here. They're held here until they're used, whatever they're going to be used or whatever.
Yes.
He says these are very new. We just rounded some up yesterday since entering the warp, and if you look, and he points to one, and you see on his arm where, like on his forearm, the skin has become hairless, and it is slowly started to shift into scales, but it's not fully done, so it's subtle. And he says, like this, yeah, this. This is, I imagine, what our Lord Captain, ooh, that was a bad one. Our Lord Captain is probably thinking. Subtle, very sneaky. We caught them
That would
just
be
in time.
my understanding.
Perhaps maybe we show him, or you show him. I don't know if I want to stand in front of the Lord Captain. That would be bad.
Yeah, well, I will certainly take some picked evidence.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
pull out
You
my
could take
little.
you could take his whole army with you if you want. That might be.
I think that will be
He's
needless.
not
I think
he's not long for
the
this
Lord
world.
Captain does trust you, and so we would not have sought out your expertise unless it were so.
And he slams the door on the holding cell, very unceremoniously, intending to be rude to this mutant, who may or may not have been an actual effective crew member or not.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So I'll take some pics with my data slate and.
yeah.
Look, man, he was clearly a reptoid.
So for the next few days of the journey, you and I should be in context. What do you say to a 5-minute meeting in the morning?
I think that would be very wise. In fact, I am about to make my rounds in the lower engineering areas in about 2 hours. Perhaps you could come with, yeah?
Yeah, I would be happy to see what you are doing.
Excellent. I'll have some of the boys rounded up in. Oh my god, my Scottish almost came out.
I'll have some of the boys rounded up, eh?
I'll round up some of the men, and we'll make a big showing. We'll clear the entire engineering and prove to the Lord Captain that our work is good, and that our work is diligent, and that we're doing everything in our power to keep the mutants under control.
And when we are done, we will break into a bottle of mine schnapps, yeah.
Yeah, schnapps. I like schnapps. Where's it from?
Well, the last world that I was on that made schnapps of any decency.
I happen to have some blueberry schnapps, argued to be from the core. I'm sorry.
The core?
Segmentum solar.
Segmentum solar.
We should have some later. We'll celebrate.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate a successful hunt with a few shots, and we'll pour one out for the God Emperor. My accent is all over the fucking place.
It
I'm
is.
sorry.
I thank you for your generosity. I will look forward to it.
Excellent. Wunderbar, I think you Germans say.
Ja, wunderbar.
Trying to get
Turns
something
out,
closer to
he's
Dutch.
not actually German. He's been imitating the other guy's accent.
No, I've been trying to picture him being more Dutch than German. So, but unfortunately, I don't know enough. I don't know any Dutch, but I know it's similar in language. I think the tone is different.
Well, if you want him to be Dutch, when they go to split the blueberry snaps, have him offer Reinhardt a bill.
Wow. Yes, I did forget that in some ways there are certain commonalities between one penny pincher group and another. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Anything else before we move on to our second encounter of this translation?
If they're going to be splitting the Enginarium, I'm going. As soon as I'm made aware of this, I tell all the servitors to be extremely thick and slow in their duties, just to get in the way.
I think Germanus Gerb is kind of used to your antics, because I feel like this is not the first time you've done this.
Can you really tell a servitor to be thicker?
Extra thick.
I sweep.
Them servitor booty cheeks clapping.
I think Gerb is just gonna try to do his best around it and let Reinhardt deconflict that particular issue. I think at some point he will offhandedly remark, Archbishop, the servitors seem to be more obtrusive than usual. Would you agree or disagree?
I have not noticed, but I tend to not notice servitors.
They seem to almost... Look at that one there, standing literally in the middle of the hallway where we either have to move it or we have to sidestep to get by. You see what I'm talking about?
Oh, well, they usually move out of the way for me.
Perhaps I should speak with the engineer. Maybe something about these particular servitors are malfunctioning.
Well, perhaps if I were to get you a hell gun, they would move for you as well.
A hell gun! Yeah, that would be so much fun. I did not mean to make that rhyme, but I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Actually, in the lower holds. His eyes. When you say anything about giving him a hell gun, his eyes are just like bling. Yeah, gimme, gimme.
You might want to offer a hell pistol rather than a hell gun.
No. He's happy with a hell gun. Don't you
No
downsell it
proficiency in
now.
Shooting it wildly all over the place, but he'll take it.
Blam, 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 blam.
He doesn't strike me as a regular reader of guns and ammo. I could probably give him
I
a
believe
las
we
gun
decided we were
with
going to
some
call it
extra-
armaments
Hot
and
packs.
munitions.
Yeah. A hot shot las gun.
Oh my god.
I could probably just
A
give
hot
him
shot-
a hot shot las gun.
You
with
probably
some-
could.
Just-
I
just
feel
so
like
you're aware,
chrome.
just so you're aware, Hellgun and Hotshot Lasgun are different names for the same thing.
well, I think
Oh.
I'm picturing the las gun that there's a las gun that
Yeah.
is it basically uses like twice the power draw or something like that. Am I crazy?
It's called
Well,
the Hellgun. It's the same thing.
So
Is
the,
it?
the hell gun is made specifically to discharge that.
Right. But the las guns
the
get like
las
field
gun,
modified
can-
by grunts that don't know any better.
Correct. And you can make a very dangerous.
Yeah. Much more likely
Might
to blow up
blow
in your
you up.
face. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, there are jury-rigged versions.
That's
of the
that's
Hellgun.
what I was picturing was the more jury rigged version, and he would not know the difference because, he's just a cabin boy with a gun fetish rounding up malcontents at the bottom of the ship. So let's do this second warp encounter. Let me go ahead and get 2 of those 1d100 rolls and see which ones you guys will be subjected to.
While you're rolling, have some poetry about a matter that was brought up.
Oh dear.
While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of butt cheeks gently clapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, twerking at my chamber door, dummy thick, and nothing more.
56 and 41. So 56 will be more
40, just 40.
56 and 40, yes. Sorry. So 56 is spontaneous inhuman combustion. 40
Okay.
is psychic predators, which is a psychic encounter, which is handled differently than a physical encounter. So, description for psychic predators is if this encounter manifests aboard a ship, roll once on table 2-8 warp incursions and apply the effect. Reduce the result by 30 if the ship's Geller field is fully functional to a minimum of 1, and add 30 if it is offline. So, psychic encounter with a potential reduction in level of threat, or random piece of the ship catching on fire.
I'm kind of
What's
curious
the
about
table
the
versus
psychic
the
one.
psychic encounter again?
As far as avoiding the psychic encounter or the actual
No, well, what's the
The
What's
table.
the table? The table.
2-8 warp incursions in the Navis Primer.
Oh, I
If you-
don't have
if,
that one.
if you
up.
wanted to look it up. It should be in the shared folder, by the way.
Oh, I
No,
have
I
a
have
copy.
it.
I have the Navis Fabric. I just didn't have it pulled up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I need to download a copy of the Navis Primer. I don't have it.
I thought I had a copy of the Navis Primer. There's the errata.
Thank you, Games Workshop, for making like 80 different books that you need to play one fucking game.
To be fair, I believe in the in the Rogue Trader core book, you can do warp travel. It's just not as detailed as it is in the Navis Primer.
How about we just do that then?
What's that?
No, but I'm
The
kind
not
of fun to see
the
what
not
it
Navis
is.
Primer.
I like the Navis Primer version because of the level of fuckery that's involved.
Okay, so if we go with the psychic incursion, what do we have to do to defend it off?
You guys will make a handful of random rolls to determine what tests the navigator needs to make to pass.
What? I thought I had a bookmark for your share drive. Hold on.
I believe there's one pinned in the Discord
I
channel.
Yeah,
looked.
there is.
I looked in Rogue Trader. There is not.
Yes, there is.
I
It's
see
pinned.
fire. I see. Oh, never mind. I looked at the wrong thing. I saw the link and I didn't register that as the share drive.
Yep.
He started reading, and his eyes glazed over.
That sounds about right. Although, in his defense, I often have that problem. I actually have to
No,
physically
I know the feeling.
manifest
Like,
the energy to concentrate on what I'm reading.
look, this might be a wall of text. My brain's like, oh, that's boring. Can we go
Well,
to something
I
else?
saw the link
Yeah.
and for some reason in my mind associated it with your link to the
To the Zoom call or something.
Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah. Rodance, I feel like you're looking at the table. Are you finding things that are ultra scary and no?
I wish to inflict that upon them because I am firmly convinced we will not survive longer than my Alien RPG campaign character.
Well, I mean, you're like 18 episodes behind in that regard. So if you want to play the psychic game, we could do the psychic game.
What page is it on of the Navis Primer?
It's 2-8, so it's gonna 34.
I'm looking at it right now.
So
So it starts with Swarming Madness, Possession, Plague of Madness, Damon Incursion, Warp Sickness, Warp Monster. Warp Monster is basically
well, before you get too far into
hilarious.
that, the warp sickness and the warp monster will not be applicable because you guys have a functioning Geller field. The highest you'll be able to
because
roll
we got
is
a
a
minus
70.
30.
If your navigator cannot figure out how to get through this. So while you guys are attempting to figure out which direction you want to go, let me break down the psychic encounter avoidance rules. Normally, a player character playing as a navigator would have to go into some sort of psychic battle of wills, in effect, that would be role played out and a couple of dice rolled. Because Anastasia is an NPC, one player will roll 1d100 to determine what kind of test the navigator has to pass. And then based on that result, the navigator has to make certain skill or characteristic rolls. So, for instance, I could be rolling a challenging willpower, weapon skill, toughness skill, intelligence skill, perception, or willpower. So effectively, it's a random determination to figure out what it is that she's testing against.
Well, given the nature of what I'm looking at, I honestly think that a component of the ship being on fire might be better for the the ship as a whole.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Okay. I think watching horrifying psychic things happen would be entertaining. I'm down for the psychic incursion. But realistically, if we want to minimize risk, just setting another component on fire is safer.
I love how Rodance is like, no, burn everything in a psychic realm of fire, or just burn a part of the ship.
If you want to trust my willpower, you can trust my willpower. If you don't want to trust my willpower and not have,
Like, what's the problem? Like, I'm
The guy
rolling with a
who-
54 willpower.
I have a
And I get
41, which is
bonuses.
not insignificant, but
And I'm
I
pretty
have
sure I'm pretty
50.
sure the rest of us have a 30.
I was gonna say, are you
No,
sure?
I have 50.
but I do hate like daemons and warp heretics and fuckery from the warp. And if I think that warp fuckery is around, it is entirely possible that the Hellgun might start going off.
think that would be funny.
While I think it would be
Rodance just
funny,
Entertaining.
Sorry.
while I think it'd be funny, I'd like to not have a premature end to our characters with someone becoming possessed by a demon.
It's an easy willpower test.
It's like plus 30 or something like that. Easy.
Yeah.
At any rate, what are we going with? Are we going with random part of the ship catching on fire? Or are we going to go
and
dance with the devil in
I'll
the pale
use my
moonlight?
I'll use my command test to try to get it put out.
Okay.
Yay!
All right.
Fire.
First things first. Let's see if we can avoid or detect the encounter.
Not with your
because-
son issues, right?
Detect it.
Yeah. So let's see. Ordinary
Footfall
plus 10.
checklist. Find new navigator.
Wow. House Mercator might have something to say about that. You wouldn't necessarily be wrong. I'm going against a 49.
They don't even know where the name of their house comes from.
Ah, look at that. Look at that. A 26.
Beautiful.
Shut up.
Yay!
I managed to detect the encounter before it happens.
Yeah, because the crewman pointed out one of the windows and went, "Hey, what's that?"
And then instantly went insane.
And
Right.
because this is a physical encounter, Navigator makes a navigation plus 10. I believe the number I'm looking for is 59. Let me verify that. Navigation, nope, 52.
Congratulations, the sensor beeped and they managed to notice.
Fuck you, Rev. I have made it. Jace, please pilot the ship with a, let's see, plus 10 pilot spacecraft roll.
And a command of avoid that thing.
So now you have a piloting plus 20.
Okay. Pilot spacecraft is agility, which is my highest stat at
As
54.
it should be. Yeah.
So I'm hearing 74. Does that sound right to everybody else?
Yeah, but I'm also going to spend a fate point to make it 84.
Booyah.
We just might avoid the random Zippo event. Look at that. We have avoided our warp
Woot.
encounter altogether. Good job, crew.
Boring.
Yay!
Boring, Ontario's.
I hope the engine compartment catches on fire, you son of a gun.
All right.
I'm
The
sorry.
computer core.
What happened?
I know we don't have a computer core. But
No, it's
the
his
cogitator
workshop.
core.
Did you turn the water on him? Oh, that poor cat.
The thing was in the back though. So it
Oh,
wasn't, like,
it
up
just scared
close.
him.
Say hi.
Well, I would have known if he was more close.
Yeah. All right.
Omar, say hi and tell him to kick the cat.
Rev says hi, and then
What is
says
wrong,
something that's
Rev?
absolutely fucking stupid to say, and so I will not be telling you what that was.
Please?
He wanted you to kick the cat.
Oh no.
Yeah. Go
Look,
take your
I
shower.
have no problem with cats as long as they stay in the road where they belong.
Wow.
What?
Wow. Holy shit. Let's move on before this becomes ugly. You have another 5 days to do whatever it is the crew would
Minus
like
20
to
to your
do.
next warp roll, all because of Warner.
Yeah, really. 5 more days in the warp. What would you like to do?
Well, we avoided the encounter, so
I would like to obsessively polish my guns
Um,
I'm setting
and
up a
meet
fake
a daily
songbird in the
with the
piloting
twist
area.
catcher.
you would also have the, not to speak out of turn, but I definitely would have we would have established some sort of training schedule for, Reinhardt and the
Yes, that's correct.
Ugly Bunch.
Germanus Gerb and his band of refugee.
No,
I mean-
no.
No, the
Not.
Oh, your
the
personal
special
guard.
ops.
Your personal
Yeah.
guard. All right, Jace.
Yeah, with the hopes that we can eventually get their competency up.
Yeah, and then Jace, I think you were trying to say something as well.
Yeah, I'm setting up a caged songbird in the piloting area on the bridge.
Is that the? Uh-oh, we lost Rodance on the table. Verdance, you good?
No.
Let me poke at my tabletop simulator, because I'm still on the tabletop simulator.
We just lost you on
Yeah,
mine.
we're seeing you as disconnected.
Might
Mine
be
still
decent.
shows me as connected.
Yeah, it'll do that. It just might take a
Oh,
few
there it
seconds.
goes.
Yeah. While she's
I'm not
resolving
sure
that,
why.
I don't think there's an idle kill, and I don't think you've been terribly idle either. Maybe you have. I don't know.
War fuckery.
Warp fuckery. Great answer.
Is there a just so we can kind of know? Is there a certain kind of like roles that we need to eventually do for like how long it's going to take to increase these guys to a higher level of competency?
I'll have to get back to you at a later date. I don't have a thought on. I mean, I have a couple ideas, but I want to put some actual legit thought into improving your crew's capabilities, including your guards and your personal detachment that you're trying to form here. I don't know exactly how I want to do it yet, so I'll have to put some thought to it. What was it? Electronic songbird or the cage songbird?
Caged songbird.
Caged songbird.
Tell me what that is in non-Warhammer 40k terms.
It is a warp canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
Okay, now explain it to me as though I'm dumb.
Bird go,
you know what a canary
win
in the
trouble.
coal mine is, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of the canary in the coal mine thing. I'm just curious what that means
Okay,
here.
it's the same thing, but it's for when you're in the warp.
Uh-huh.
It can warn you when the Geller field is about to go down, or when
Okay.
the demon is close by.
Okay, that makes sense. And so you're trying to set one of these up in the bridge or in your crew quarters?
In the bridge.
In the bridge. Okay.
That's where they're normally kept, anyway.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, now that we know what they're for.
Okay, does it
I
require
know
any
one
dice
caged
rolls or anything to get
songbirds.
established? Or... Sorry?
No, I just set it on the counter and it sings.
Okay. All right.
Um,
You have a songbird. in a
I forget
cage.
how does it affect dice rolls, if any.
The cage songbird?
Yes.
It just gives you fair warning.
Hey, the Gellerfield is taking a shit right now. Perhaps you should look into that. I'm picturing now, like, it uses the voice of the standard navigator voice on your GPS for your car or your phone or whatever. It's like, hey, your Gellerfield is failing quite bad right now. You might want to take a look
Why
at it.
are you giving Shelley
Since-
such a bad job, man?
Since it's a songbird, I think it should sound like Richard Cheese. And
Don't know
depending
Richard
on
Cheese
the
up there.
version of
no.
demon that it is,
no.
it should sing a different song. Like for
Do you really
Nurgle,
want
it should
Omar?
be down
Do you
with
really
the
want to get?
sickness.
Do you really want to get Omar to sing?
Oh God, no! You don't want to get me to sing. I see Rodance is basically face palming over there.
I'm going to send you Richard Cheese's Down with the Sickness, just so you know.
Please. I'm sure this will amuse me. I will look at it after the stream, but
I would say he has to do a Weird Al Polkamania version of said song.
oh my God, Weird Al Polkamania. Oh my fucking
Yes.
God. Find me the link for that and send it to me too, Warner. Would you please? Because I feel like I gotta see that now. I've already got an amazing image in my head because I know exactly, obviously, who Weird Al Yankovic is.
You don't know his Polkamania? He's done quite a few. You don't know any of his Polkamania stuff?
I have not seen any. I can imagine because I know who Weird Al is and I know who Hulk Hogan is, but I can
No.
easily mash them
Not-
together.
Not Hulkamania.
No, I hear you. I'm just okay. All right, in that
Like
case,
the
maybe I'm
angry white
misunderstanding.
The Angry White Boy Polka.
Oh God, that sounds hilarious as fuck too.
All right.
So
I
when
will-
you
I will
said
send you that.
Polkamania, what I thought was Weird Al Yankovic doing a Hulk Hogan thing, but with polka as his vehicle.
No. It's Weird
That would
Al
be
taking other.
hilarious.
See, now you see where I'm coming from.
Mhm.
It's Weird Al taking songs and polkafying them.
Okay, like Gangster's Paradise, except that wasn't polka-fied, but I hear you.
Right.
Yeah. And Amish Paradise was amazing, by the way. Weird Al is such a fucking talented clown, man. It's amazing.
He really is.
All All right. Anything else for this 5-day stretch, or shall we move on to our final warp encounter?
Let's move on to our final encounter.
All right. Well, give me. I don't care personally who rolls it, but somebody needs to give me 2 1d100 rolls so we can figure out what it is.
All right, who?
You're
I know
doing.
I rolled one of the last two. Who rolled the other?
I think that was Reinhardt.
I
To be
did.
honest. Oh no, it's Jace.
Okay, well I
Well,
think
it's
Alterios and Rodance are due for a couple of rolls.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
Bleh.
What
saw you
horror
click and
are
I
nothing
you
saw
happened.
it too. I'm sitting right in front of it. Oh, I should probably.
You're clicking beneath it.
There we go. All right, 54. I'm pretty sure that's the fire thing again. Yep, spontaneous inhuman combustion. Or 62, warp storm, which is where I roll twice on the critical hits and choose the lowest result.
Well, we decided storm was better than fire, but now we have to see if
agree.
we can avoid it again.
Yes.
What are the odds of that?
Well, I did manage to avoid one previously.
Yeah.
And failed the first one. Yes, I understand. Cynicians plus 10. That will be 39, so 49. 53. Unfortunate. However, 1 degree of failure does not ruin protection. I just can't do anything about it. I'm aware of it. I can basically say, brace for the storm. Challenging navigation, but I get a plus 10, so that will be 52. Success. Pilot, please make a piloting plus 10 plus other optional
Do the
modifiers.
piloty thingy good.
So, okay, so now we're piloting plus 20.
Doorbell!
Jace, do you think you can pull off a Indelman in the warp?
Immelman?
I think I'm going to spend a fate point.
It's entirely up to you. You're looking, I believe, at a 74 right now.
54. Yeah, 74.
So it's up to you
So
if you
I'm
want to
gonna
bump it
spend
to
a fate
84.
point.
Okay. 84 is what I'm looking at.
Yep.
Ooh, 94. Would you like to spend another one and re-roll?
Spend another fate point.
Okay. There you go. Success. All right. We have managed to
right.
make it out of that funkiness. Let's see. What's next? Avoiding the physical blah, 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 leaving the warp. The hell? What are you doing, cat?
Cat
Annoying me.
things.
Sit. That's what I heard. Okay, give me a second, guys. Sorry. Well, don't do stupid shit, and I won't have to spray you in the face.
It'll learn faster if you kick it.
No. Yes, I love you too, kitty. Okay.
I
Do
do
you?
understand the spritzer works.
It does. He hates it. He knows too. Let's see. For the purpose of this trip, use the warp. Blah 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 blah. Re-entry to warp footfall will be on target. Navigator will prompt. The ship translates without incident. Yeah, you guys effectively. Well, let me ask this: you have 5 days remaining from the final warp encounter. What would you like to do? I will point out one thing, totally optional. Some ship captains do have a tradition of, on what they believe to be the final night in the warp, they will have a big dinner or some other sort of thing. You absolutely do not have to do this, but if you would like to, for RP reasons, you can have a special, special dinner or something like that aboard the ship. But you have 5 final days in the warp before you come out.
I have
All
something
signs.
else.
You do get a message from your navigator indicating that within the next 24 to 48 hours, your window to translate out of the warp and into the edge of the footfall system is on a final approach. Or something like that.
I actually have other plans. So
Okay. You have.
we will hold off on any kind of major dinner.
Okay. Is there anything you guys want to do before you exit the warp and return to real space? Or shall we just arrive at Footfall?
I say we just,
Um,
unless anybody else has something else, I'm ready to be at Footfall. I was ready to
Jace?
be at Footfall
Let's-
3 sessions
I,
ago.
I will.
Let's. Oh, sorry.
I will be taking my blessed ship token and giving thanks to the void or to the emperor for a safe journey.
Indeed. Lord Captain, this is your navigator speaking. Please exit the warp at your command.
Engage. I don't know.
Disengage, as the case may be.
Real space in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Engage the disengagement.
Engage the disengagement. All right.
Things are about to get real.
You arrive at the edge of the Footfall system. I don't have any imagery prepped. I should have, actually. Footfall can be best described as a number of rocks literally chained to each other. Near the center is a massive macro statue of the God Emperor. This is but one of, I believe, 3 major orbital bodies in the system. One planet very close to the local star, and something else, towards the edge of the system. Unless there is anything in particular you want to get after in the system, transit to Footfall is uneventful. There
Well,
are...
there is a
Go ahead.
there is a Mechanicus station here.
Yes.
But
That's at the innermost planet.
but I am not too particularly. Is there any Imperial? Like, I guess I'm going to be hailing the mechanic. I would at least send out a hail to the Mechanicus that we were in system, and if they required any of the services of a rogue trader, I'll be finding out if there is any Imperial fleet presence in the system or any other ships that we can see in range. Large ships, small ships.
There are a number of vessels of various types, mostly merchant, transit, transport type. Presently, there does not appear to be any sort of military assets. All ships appear to be human. As far as you can tell, there are no other rogue trader vessels in particular. These are all more like... let me rephrase that. There is no other rogue trader present currently, as far as you can tell. There may be ships belonging to one rogue trader house or another, but no actual rogue trader is present, as far as you can tell.
No actual warrant holder.
Correct.
Lord Captain, may I impose upon you for a moment?
Certainly. My office?
It should be quick. I know that you are set on triumph of some kind, but perhaps I could take the head of the pirate captains that we dealt with and see if we can get any money out of that.
Marcellus Dale, standing alongside you guys at the bridge, simply looks over at Lord Captain. Turning in the bounties on these scum certainly will turn a few points of profit your way. Let me be clear, out of character, I do not specifically mean profit factor, just points of profit, coins, or what. Additionally, Lord Captain, there are a few things that will be needed. Of course, returning the box of literature to Victress Lorraine regarding the Scrivener on Port Wander. There is also the...
Take that?
I'm sorry?
It sounded like you got a phone call. I was asking if you needed
No,
to take
that wasn't me. I don't know who that was. The other issue, Lord Captain, is interacting with or choosing not to interact with Emil Astris, the less than desirable contacts with the local ne'er-do-wells. Although they are Asbalica related, it probably would not hurt to check in with them.
So Emil Astris is the prince. Who then?
The prince?
Yes, the Casbolica has different princes based on
Ah,
that is the ranking individual of the Casbolica in said planet or sector.
well, he is. I think Thale is taking slightly aback when you mention the prince, and he's like, I don't believe he ranked that high. He was given as a point of contact for contact on arrival. However, regardless of his specific station within that less than legal organization, they have requested you to make contact. The final note I have is a message from the navigator who is currently in repose. Additional star charts may be required. I'm sorry, she recommends searching for additional star charts in order to ease the journey to our final destination.
Don't we already have all the star charts we need?
You do not have a direct route from Football to Magoros. You have a two-stop when you could have a non-stop. If that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah. We got a thing to Rain and then to Magoros.
Mm-hmm. So what he's effectively saying that the navigator has suggested is that if it's possible to acquire a direct route, i.e. one time in the warp, it might be better than two stops, i.e. two times in the warp.
I.e., what we just went through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Beyond that, Lord Captain, what else would you be intending while we're here? I will obviously look after settling the affairs for the repairs of our ship and resupplying prior to our next departure. But
Yes,
knowing what you intend may give me an idea of how much time I have available to do that.
We'll need to procure a repair bay for the refitting of the hull of the cargo vessel.
That vessel, I should point out, and I apologize for interrupting, Lord Captain. That vessel, are you claiming it as salvage? It does belong to the Ecclesiarchy.
Oh.
It is a pilgrim vessel.
The members of said ship were more than happy to turn over ownership of the ship, so I claim it not only as salvage, but as payment in turn for rescue.
Very well. I will begin the process of rectifying that discrepancy in the ecclesiarchal archives. He says that with a bit of a smirk. Not a joke at your expense, but I got you, brother. We're gonna rip off the church.
Oh, I mean, I saved a number of members of the church.
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
clothed
No,
them,
I got you. I got you. I did interrupt. I apologize, Lord Captain. You were saying something else beyond
Yes,
dealing with a penitent traveler. I will, of course, get to work on that as well.
I do feel like, tell me, it was beneath my notice. What was the name of the raider vessel?
I don't have a name recorded in my notes either. He actually takes out his Bible. He calls it his Bible. It's a data slate that he always, if you don't see him, or excuse me, if you see him outside of his personal quarters, he always has this data slate with him. He has actually referred to it in some cases in passing as his Bible. But he flips through some of his notes on the data slate and he says, we actually don't have...
It was called Wolfpack 1.
Yeah, we assigned like a generic target number. Hang on one second. I need to go AFK, so feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
Yes.
I'm gonna go get some tea.
I'm gonna go get something myself, but I'll ask again. Does anybody object to the renaming of the cargo vessel?
Go for it. It's cheeky.
What are you naming it?
Well, so Jace did suggest that we go with Prophet's Pursuit, but I feel like that loses some of the cheekiness that I had in the previous name, or in my idea.
Oh, I was just trying to get it to more align with the naming convention that you already had established.
Right. Well, Pursuit of Prophet said aloud sounds very different than how it's spelled.
Yeah.
And that was the cheekiness.
Oh,
Because when one is talking about pursuing said profits, they don't ever say profits pursued. Even poetically, really.
right.
So it is meant for someone who, the idea in general was someone who's more religious would go, there is an imperial sanctioned vessel, but for anyone with a slight modicum of wit to be like, I get it.
All right, I am back. I don't remember exactly what I was
Welcome back.
referring to, but I think the last thing Thale had said was that he would ensure that the penitent traveler was attended
Right.
to.
And a name for Wolfpack 1, an actual name for Wolfpack 1.
We don't have one, he says. Although it is out now our vessel, and given their most recent allegiance prior to our acquisition, we can name it whatever you would like to name it.
And I feel like a new name, especially of a vessel that may have preyed on other commercial interests in the sector, past associations with its previous name would probably not be in our best interest.
It certainly would be ideal to give it a more friendly name than whatever it may have had in the past, given whatever it was associated with, Lord Captain. I believe your engineer will be able to commune with the machine spirits in order to make that happen.
I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about a name for it because I was hoping you'd come up with a name we could spitball off of from there. But the immediate ironic thing for it is Pilgrim's Progress.
I will leave the naming of that ship to the crew of.
Yeah, I want some cast input here.
Yeah, don't let
as
me
far
name
as-
it. I will name it Firefox 6 for some stupid reason.
Well, it's going in our defensive fleet. It's not going to be a trading vessel. It's going to be kept for patrolling against pirates, raiders, aliens. So anything that you think sounds
Of course, you guys don't necessarily have to.
I had thought about naming it about after one of the Argonauts, since we're as a Greek theme.
All Greeky.
Let's do this. Let's have Alterios make a tech use plus 10, and then during off time, like between this session and the next, you guys as a crew can come up with that name, and we will just apply it based on this.
All right. And then, does anybody object to the renaming of the penitent? And this is also to sort of avoid any records questions. Does anyone else object to renaming the penitent traveler as Pursuit of Profit?
I actually like that.
No
name.
objection here.
Isn't changing ship names a bad?
This is why you have to appease and persuade the machine spirits, thus your tech.
Yeah, so 2 tech use rolls to see if we can appease the machine spirits.
Pursuit of Profit, the penitent traveler.
By the way, I didn't actually tell you, but prophet is spelled like he was a holy prophet.
The PAGT.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So it's Pursuit of Profit. So it is a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek name to both represent its past and its current role as a money-making vessel.
Yep.
Yeah, Alterios, whenever you're ready, go ahead and make the tech use plus 10. I just let me know which ship you're rolling for each roll, please.
Which one do you want me to first?
Wolfpack 1.
I think that's a success.
That is definitely a success. So Wolfpack 1 is renamed to whatever you choose during the off time.
If anybody wants to submit suggestions, I'm up for it. I hadn't thought too much. Like I said, the only thought I'd had is I had briefly looked at different Argonauts to potentially name it after an Argonaut because I figured anything more significant would be over.
The Paralos, Paralos, was an Athenian messenger trireme and sacred ship.
Actually, it's like the
during the 5th century, and also it sounds kind of like perilous.
Yeah. Did you spell that in TTS chat for me real quick?
Sure.
I don't have any objections to that name. Anybody else?
No objection here.
Perilous. I hear no
Does it share
objections.
any
so it sounds
etymology with perilous?
I don't believe so.
probably not because of the spelling, but that's my guess, and also not very well educated guess.
It's all Greek to me.
Indeed. All right, Alterios, would you make a tech use plus 10 for Pursuit of Profit? Also a success. Wow, I should not ask you to make any more rolls tonight.
Yeah, that's gonna come back to bite me.
All right.
Yeah, the para in perilous and the para in the paralos are different Greeks.
I think also,
P-A-R-A versus P-E-I-R-A.
well, perilous having the PERI beginning usually means closeness and also probably suggests the proximity of danger.
It's to try or to risk.
Well, then I may be undementalizing. I don't know, whatever. Yeah,
No,
so
risky. Hey, it's risky. It's
it is.
perilous.
It is. So yeah, as you come come into range of footfall, you are hailed. And it is kind of I guess a disinterested and not flippant, but definitely just like, yeah, it's not exactly a, yeah, what do you want? It's kind of like, we see you. What please state the purpose of your visit. How can we assist you?
I'm doing this job because nobody else is. What do you
Yeah, I'm doing this job because I need the measly paycheck to feed my kids, and the God Emperor says I should do something positive with my life, and I'm trying, but it's not getting anywhere. But that's far too much to be put into a communication of where are you going and what can I do to get you there.
I'll let Thale handle the necessary things, but I would be telling him that we need to repair berth for the one ship. Backing up to the previous conversation, I would also be asking him if his replacement was on board or someone who was someone who was a member of the house somewhere else.
Oh yes. Lord Captain, perhaps when we have a bit of time prior to our next departure, we could talk a little bit more in detail in private about my continued status, we'll say. But the short version to your answer is that your replacement is presently not here either on the ship or footfall.
You mean my replacement?
Yes, my replacement. What did I say?
You said my replacement.
Don't answer that, Lord Captain. Your replacement will hopefully not ever be here for many, many years. Ideally after your firstborn becomes of age. Long after. At any rate,
I'm looking at him suspiciously.
Yeah, I know.
He's really hoping you don't procreate.
Is that Reinhardt or is that Thale? Both, ironically.
Thale.
Yes.
What aren't you telling me?
Lord Captain, I was also about to report that the slip for the Pursuit of Profit is being made available even now. I should hear soon, within a day or two, about the extent, the cost, and the duration of repair work needed.
I just forgot the title for the person in charge of Footfall Station. I wish to make arrangements to meet with them.
Is he not the Liege Lord? Is that what they call him?
No, there's a term. It's not director, but it's essentially I had the Footfall. I was checking the Footfall wiki earlier. Hold on.
Don't remember off the top of my head. I don't know where exactly to.
The Footfall Wiki. Things I did not know existed.
Well, there's a wiki. There's a couple of wikis. The biggest one.
There is a Footfall page on 2 different wikis, and I have them both.
Yeah.
Up there.
Gotcha.
I prefer Lexicanum, except it is almost entirely a copy and paste from other, not so much other sources, but like from the source.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't always give.
That is also why I prefer it, because it is
Yeah,
a
except
more
it.
academic bent.
Yeah, except it's also like it doesn't really give you much more than that.
Slightly less fluffy.
Yeah, which is cool. It gives you accurate information. It's just it only gives you the information. So 342 in the book. Let's see. 1, 2. Footfall. Dwayne's footfall.
Often the head of the Casbolica mission and the person in charge of footfall are the same person.
That sounds about right.
But it's typically a not. So, from my knowledge of lore, in case you don't have anything ironed out in that regard, in your head, I'm assuming you do, but I'm just giving you this in case. The head of the person in charge of footfall is either a puppet or is secretly the prince, and it's typically the prince that actually wields.
I will say this. Marcellus Dale reports, Lord Captain, I have sent a missive to the leadership of this station, informing them of your arrival in a discreet manner, and inquiring as to when you might be able to meet with them at the most absolute earliest possible time. How about that?
Right. And they're the essentially the different there's not a an overboss, but the leaders, if you're more familiar with like Italian gang structure, the capos.
You have the bosses, and
would-
then there's usually, and then the Don, more or less.
Right. Well, that would be an overboss. But the capos would essentially be princes, and they basically, it's more of a council and a conclave, so far as the general Imperium knows, without a specific Don over everything.
Right. Anything else?
No.
We
So-
we are reaching out to the Casbolica dude, right?
Yes.
The one that we were given.
Emil Astros.
Yes, Astris.
That's the one that the guy that I killed told us to reach out to, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Correct.
He is.
So I'm taking that with a grain of salt.
Well, if the prince or one of his lieutenants hears that we're trying to reach them through official and unofficial channels, maybe
yeah, I
that'll-
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Warner.
Oh, I'm still going to reach out. It's just I'm taking that this person is an actual contact with the Casbolica with a grain of salt, because the way this
Right.
guy's minions handled, for all I know, he's a jumped up dock worker.
Right. Yeah. So you're
Hold on a
you're
second.
reaching out to the leader of the station, recognizing that he's probably Casbolica, and if not, he's deep in their pockets. And also, hey, this shithead in the docks on another station said I'm supposed to check in with this guy here. So basically, you're hitting the Casbolica from two different angles. One's a little bit more surreptitious of the other. Or, I don't know if surreptitious is the right word.
So I just have some breaking IRL news, just because I think
No.
the people here might want to be interested. Apparently, Israel has launched missiles at Syria, Iran, and Iraq.
Oh no.
Interesting.
So no necessary further discussion. I just thought people might want a heads up.
Okay, well, yeah. Interesting news. We're almost done here. I just want to confirm things before we actually start wrapping.
Yeah, and of course, everyone's acquisition roll.
We will do that next time. But
We're here.
yes, but
Yeah.
I want to
Hey,
do.
look,
Let's
we
do it
have
next time,
until-
just because of the time.
Yep, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That'll also give people the week to plan what they want to try and roll
Yes.
for.
Rev Hoshin says thanks for the heads up. Reference Israel. Hoshin being one of the viewers that is commonly here. In case you didn't know. I don't know.
Oh,
if you know
hey,
that.
Hashin.
I know Rodance and maybe one or two others would recognize the name, but I didn't know if Rev.
Well, we occasionally chit chat.
Yeah.
Well, I know a Hashem,
It has
but it's.
comments.
Does he have a second part of his name, Rodance, in other areas?
In Twitch, it's Hashin256. On Discord, I believe it's just Hashin something. Maybe
Because I know one whose name is like a. I don't want to butcher it. It's a Shin, and then something that seems to be Japanese. I would think.
No, this is not Asian influence. To verify and confirm before we move to our outro sequence, we have the Penitent Traveler being put into a repair slip. We have the Wolfpack Raider being renamed to the Perilous.
We have the Pursuit of Profit being put into a repair.
Did I put that backwards or say that backwards?
You said Penitent Traveler, which is what it was.
Okay, I apologize. You're right. The Pursuit of Profit is being put in a repair slip. The Acheron's Ferry and the Perilous are being put into docking ports virtually next door to or adjacent to each other. Now, mind you, in such an arrangement for these large vessels, several hundred meters probably exists between the two of them.
I would like a little bit of an unusual arrangement. I would like the pirate vessels, since they are new, to be docked to our vessel.
Sure.
And
that way you can control whether or not they get into football.
Their access to the station is somewhat monitored by us, though not forbidden.
Okay.
So we can see who's coming and going.
Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. Thale has begun the process of getting the repairs put into order for the Pursuit of Profit. He will need a brief conversation with you in our next session regarding his succession. You have the box to go to Victress Lorraine. You have potentially a meeting with Emil Astris. You will also have potentially a meeting with whoever the hell is in charge of football. Am I missing anything?
Acquisition roles.
Well, yeah, that will be there too. I'll probably let me make it that number 2. Acquisition rolls.
We can make 5 rolls tonight if there's time.
No. I know you want to, and normally I wouldn't. I'm not terribly opposed. It's just based solely on the time right now.
Timing.
Well, if nobody knows what they want, they make their roll and they're like, okay.
No. That's a little too open-ended. What I'm cool with. Oh, the other thing was, as far as an idea to explore, so this is something that you guys will have to figure out if you want to do it or not, is attempting to acquire additional charts for navigation purposes.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a decision that you guys will have to let me know next week.
I have an idea that would help everybody if someone doesn't have something they specifically want to roll for that's easily obtainable.
Okay.
Or like if somebody has something like, well, I'll roll for this and there's 90%, there's like a 10% chance I'll get it. I ask that you message me.
Okay.
Because there's something we can get that would save some headaches in the future.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Let's talk about outro-y stuff. First, 250 experience points for everybody.
Woohoo!
The
normal 200 plus the 50 for completing a warp transit, where while it was definitely eventful, perhaps even stressful, major obstacles did not arise, but what obstacles did were overcome.
Dang it, Omar, I saved my last fate die for nothing.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you. I got nothing, man. Feedback and outros. Let's see what we got. Let's start with Warner. We'll go in reverse order this time. Warner, feedback, outro-y bits. What do you got for us?
I had fun. The warp translation thing still takes a while.
Yes.
What with us having the constant back and forth about what's going on. So
we did make
hopefully
it through...
as a party we will eventually streamline that.
I feel like even with the fact that there were 3 separate encounters, we managed to make it through the entire trip probably faster than our last trip.
Yes, we did manage faster than last time. So we did have progress.
Even with the additional encounters, I think honestly the biggest holding or stalling point is choosing which encounter to deal with, and I think that's something that will, as you guys become more and more familiar with the various levels of threats that they present, that will get a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah.
The alternative, of course, is you could just take the Warpsbane Hull off and deal with whatever I roll, but who would do that?
No,
Why the
Also-
fuck would you do that?
Also, Omar, so I don't catch you flat-footed,
Uh-huh.
I do intend to make a visit to the Xenosium.
Perfect. That's ironic, but I will only say that. Warner, please continue with anything else you may have before we derailed you.
No, I think I'm pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, enjoyed the interaction with the twist catcher. That was fun. Even if his accent kept shifting, that was part of the charm.
I tried really hard to keep it to something Germanic Dutch, but I'm not good with accents. So
Start a Kickstarter to get Omar a voice coach, and it,
or
one
an
night a
accent
week.
coach.
No, a voice. That's what a voice coach is.
Okay.
But one night a week, or that's what a voice coach can be.
Yeah.
One night a week, your live stream is you and is your session with the voice coach.
That would be hilarious to stream, actually.
Yeah,
That's actually
my German accent is
all bullshit aside.
largely
It's not a
Bavarian.
bad idea. Just can't afford a voice coach. Go ahead, Warren.
So-
You were saying something.
Mine accent is largely Bavarian. So if you take the Swiss and the Austrians, they be my neighbors. We are the happy Southern Germans.
The happy Southern Germans.
Well, I know a Bavarian who's quite irate, so that
At any rate, you got anything else, Warner?
No, that is it. That is my feedback.
Awesome.
he's a Bavarian and he's not cream-filled. Anyway,
Cream.
All right, enough. Rodance, before these guys get me fucking totally screwed up. What do you got for us? You had a quiet night again, but we'll see what we can do in the future to fix that.
Well, I mean, I've advocated for us doing horribly dangerous things, but nobody agreed to do it. So,
Ro, tell him what we found
the
about
power.
combat for you.
Uh-oh.
we found additional powers that I can do in space combat, thankfully.
Okay.
Woot!
Where did you find them? What publication?
At the very end of the chapter, instead of up at the rest of the section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was dumb.
There's a separate section in Into the
Storm.
And it's literally labeled something like it's kind of buried separate from everything else that would seem relevant.
Yeah, it's after all of the different positions and explains what characters of certain types can do. And it's specifically for navigators and astropaths.
It said something like where was it? Oh yeah, astropaths and navigators in Starship Combat is literally the bookmark title.
Yeah. It's definitely gonna be fun. I already just bought Cyberreading 3, so.
Ooh.
Nice. You guys all should be ranked 2 at this point. Am I crazy?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, as
I
long as you
ranked
spent your
2.
XP, you should
Yeah.
be.
Well, yeah. Assuming you've spent it, yeah.
I've just got to decide where to spend my current 350 XP I have.
Yeah, I have a OneNote where I have screenshots of the rank charts, and I highlight which ones I'm going for and which ones I've already taken.
Gotcha. Hashin says, depending on who he talks to last, I'm assuming he's talking about how he may swap between UK, Irish, Icelandic, and German. Can't pull off a Chinese accent, but he can pull off a bit of a Russian.
Nice.
My problem is I start with one and I drift into others, and then I can't stay on task. That's the problem I have.
Well,
Not that I am very
time
good with accents in the first place, but I drift. That's the biggest problem.
The last
My
time I put on a
understanding-
the
Oh,
last
go-
time I
go
put on
for
a
it, Rev.
the last time I put on a fake Asian accent, somebody quit the TTRPG we were playing. So
Fair enough. My understanding is that best Russian accent is bad Russian accent.
That's closer to Russian.
That's what I said.
That's what I heard. Maybe I'm second guessing
Best
everything
Russian
I know.
accent is bad
I'm
Russian
thinking
accent.
German for some reason.
Ah, gotcha. Alterios,
Duh.
what kind of feedback you have?
I am tired.
That's not feedback. That's statement of fact.
It was good.
Again,
Yeah,
you
it's-
also didn't have a whole lot going on tonight.
No, but I prefer
Just let me hang out in the back and I'll make rolls every now and again.
that.
You need a servitor, I got servitors.
I was gonna say I got to put servitors in somebody's way. That's always fun.
I did appreciate that, you asshole. Fucking, and then Warner, yeah, just get a bigger gun. They move out of my way. That was amazing interaction. I did enjoy that, by the way. Germanus Gerb, your new twist catch that wants a big shiny gun that is easily duped into believing a pistol could be the big shiny gun. Who knows? You got anything else, Alterios? Sleepy
No.
boy?
Nah.
All right. I mean, in your defense, it is like 12:30. Oh no, excuse me, going on 1 o'clock in the morning for you.
Duh.
Yeah. Darius, our esteemed pilot, what do you got for us? Feedback, outro, comments, etc.
Well, I enjoyed the session. I was glad I was able to avoid warp stuff twice, even though I didn't avoid it the first time.
Yeah.
You didn't even
Because
get
I
a
didn't
chance
have
to,
a
did
chance
you?
to.
No, the first time he didn't get a chance because
Yeah, I
I
didn't
failed.
get a chance.
The navigator failed her roll.
Yeah. So, but the next two rolls were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to more sessions in the future.
Indeed. Rev, blah, Jesus Christ. Feedback and outro comments, what do you have for us?
Well, per my usual interrupt yourself, I've gotten most of my feedback and
Yeah,
comments
you have.
in
So-
other people's sections.
So what I'm going to start doing is skipping you.
But I might have some particular feedback.
You might. But
We still should have got our acquisition rolls tonight. We're here at the station. It's not fair.
that is it here for us tonight. So thank you everybody for stopping by. I do have one quick question for the group. What is the current consensus on total experience earned since play began? Not including, of course, your startup $5,000.
2,400.
2,400. Okay.
Yep.
Total experience earned?
So
Yep.
yeah, I've got 7,400. So minus the $5,000.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. I'm going to spend
then
that on your. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've got 2,250.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Somewhere along the way, I think we just chalked it up to like one session that you weren't available for when you
Correct.
because you joined the group later, something like that. But that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Everybody should be on track. The main reason I was asking is because I haven't always been updating the two NPCs character sheets, so now they will get something like 1,200 experience points to spend because of how I'm doing it for them. Which, in the short version, is I was going to do basically they earn half the experience that you guys earn because they're NPCs, but they also wouldn't be spending their points unless they, at the end of each segmentum. But given how long it could potentially take before we even finish this segmentum, let alone the others, it might be just saved for like when we're in port, something like that. Just based on the number of sessions it may take between when I would actually spend their points again. So theoretically, the next time Anastasia Mercator has to make a navigation roll to avoid psychic bullshit in the storm, or excuse me, in the warp, she might actually have a better chance this time.
Yay.
Might. No promises. With that said, however, that is it for us.
What
tonight.
is her total? What is her total stat for that?
She's sitting at
currently?
like a 39 and 42 for the two big ones that she has to use.
Well, then 42, a +5 wouldn't be that much, but a +5 to the other.
Yeah, I mean every little bit helps, but yeah, no, they won't be big jumps, obviously, unless there's a trait or talent or something like that she can pick up. But I don't know. I have to look at the things. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. If you enjoyed the show, please consider liking and subscribing either here on Twitch or on YouTube. Please also consider joining our Discord server, the link for which you can find in the description for this YouTube video below, or if you're still watching live on Twitch, you can just type !Discord and it will show you the link. But hurry up because we're about to close the stream. Lastly, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them behind, as well as any likes on the YouTube videos. And I will be sure to answer within a reasonable time frame. I shoot for 24 to 48 hours if I'm gonna respond to anything that might be left as far as comments. But other than that, that is it for us tonight. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a grimdark world, so make sure you're doing what you have to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. Have a good one, my friends. See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.